Welcome. I'm Mark Verkler, and it's a joy to be with all of you here tonight. It's going to be a fun night, I believe. I think we're going to have a really, really good time. I'm going to be sharing with you my story of health, how I got involved in natural health 40 years ago, and what I've been learning over the years, particularly in the last 2 or 3 years. Charity, my daughter, she's going to be on in the second part of this meeting, along with some of her friends, including Sue and several others sharing testimonies of the health impact that this eye water has had in their lives, and other products that Gia sells. And we'll be talking tonight about eye water quite a bit and talking about Gia products. We have found them all extremely beneficial in our lives. My health has improved greatly, as have we got about 100 healing testimonies now online of people who've been taking the eye water and their health has improved. So we are very, very excited to share that with you. So tonight, the protocol will be, I'm taking the first section here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about a philosophy of health, and then the science behind the particular product that we're sharing with you tonight, uh, eye water and other Gia products. So I'll be doing some of that study kind of stuff. And then I'm going to introduce Charity, and she's going to take the second half of the meeting, and she's going to take you through the whole product line. She's going to explain the products, show you the products, talk about her testimony, a bunch of other people's testimonies. And so that'll be the second half of the meeting. And the third part of the meeting will be questions and answers. So if questions arise as we're going through things, just jot them down and be ready to share them. And we're planning on being done in about 2 hours. But if you have lots of questions and we're still going strong with questions, we will continue answering questions until we're done. So even if it's beyond 2 hours. So, and then the link to this recording will be sent out to everybody who's registered, and you will receive it by email tomorrow sometime. So I am going to share my screen because I've got PowerPoint to go along with everything that I'm going to be sharing with you. So we're going to trust everything works perfectly well. If you could all see this good. Charity, Sue, tell me this looks okay to you.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so my worldview concerning health changed 40 years ago. I was going to an allopathic doctor, which is a Western doctor which is what most of us have gone to for much of our lives. It's doctors trained in Western medicine, which is drugs and surgery, and they couldn't resolve the issue that I had. I went 3 times actually. I picked up parasites when I was on a missions trip in Malaysia teaching on the four keys to hearing God's voice, and came back, and yeah, I definitely had parasites because every 3 days a new crop of parasites would show up. I would have diarrhea, and so I went to a doctor and took in what they wanted, which was a stool sample. And I thought this is pretty gross, and they said, well, they couldn't find any parasites. And I said, well, I know I have them because I have the symptoms. And they said, well, bring in another stool sample. I said, really? They said, yep. So I did. And they said, no, we still can't find any parasites. And I said, okay, so now what? They said, oh, bring in another stool sample. I said, are you kidding me? So third time in, the guy standing behind the desk said, well, we probably wouldn't recognize a parasite if it jumped up and bit us. And that was like a total revelation and a total shock to my system. And it shocked to my worldview because these are the guys with the microscopes, okay? And with the degrees, and they have a microscope and they can't find a parasite. And I know I have one and they don't have a solution for me. They can't even find the problem. And I know that I got a problem. And so the fruit of my experience with them over these last 3 visits, which was of several weeks, was they don't know enough to even identify my problem, much less resolve it. And they just admitted to me verbally that they don't have the wherewithal to identify my need and probably couldn't. And I thought, are you kidding me? I mean, I've had absolute trust in you guys all my life up till then, which was about 30 years of age. I mean, it never crossed my mind that maybe I shouldn't be putting absolute trust in them. So I looked around, found a naturopath. I lived in Buffalo, New York. Naturopath was just across the border in Canada, in Niagara Falls area, Canada. And so I found him on the internet, I guess, and I went across the border, visited him, and he said, okay. he didn't have a microscope, but he said, here's some pills you can take, which are an herb. So it's not medication, it was an herb. And that should take care of it. And I said, okay. So I took the pills home, took the herbs, and that one trip was it. I mean, knocked the parasites out just like that. And it blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. One trip to this guy without a microscope, but he knew something about healthcare that the allopathic doctors didn't. He was a naturopath. Okay. And and so I thought, wow, there's more than one approach to healthcare. There's Western approach, allopathic approach, and there's a naturopathic approach. And the naturopathics, they of course believe that the body will heal itself if given the right tools. And so I went ahead and I went to Trinity School of Natural Health externally, um, and I got a certificate from them. So I have been a naturopath and did have not needed to go to a doctor at all for a 25-year span of my life because I knew enough to take care of the problems that I faced myself. So that was all pretty exciting. And over those 25 years, it's now been 30, 35 years, I guess, 40 years probably. Um, I just kept learning and learning and learning and learning, which has been exciting because I love to learn. So, three keys to health that every naturopath knows is you need to nourish your cells, get good nutrition, and because your body's designed by God that if you give it the food, which are the tools it needs to heal itself, it will heal itself. And then you want to detoxify. What a naturopath will say will be detoxify the body. But since I'm a passionate, spirit-filled Christian, I said, well, the detoxification has to be body, soul, and spirit. You got to get the anger, hatred, rage, and pride out of your spirit. And you got to get your soul away from hopelessness and despair and despondency. And you got to get kingdom emotions, love, joy, peace, thankfulness, gratitude. So that's all, these are all pieces to health. So yes, we have to detoxify, get the chemicals out of our body, toxins out of our body, and toxins out of our soul and our spirit. And then you want to build the immune system, strengthen the immune system because a strong immune system. I remember sitting down with a 900-page book on uh, on how to take care of cancer when I was, this is 40 years ago, when I was really getting into this for the first time. I was in a bookstore, sitting on the floor, reading, scanning through the book just to see. And the introduction said, hey, if you got a strong immune system, cancer can develop. I said, well, great. I didn't know that. Nobody told me that. So I said, I hope you're going to tell me how to build a strong immune system. And I went through all the chapter titles of the book. There was not a single thing on how to build a strong immune system. It was all on chemo and radiation and things like that. And I thought, that's not what I was looking for because you told me if I had a strong immune system, cancer couldn't grow in my body. And you didn't bother to tell me how to build a strong immune system. So I was a little bit disappointed in that. And again, those are some of the pressures that move me further and further into the field of being a naturopathic practitioner. So any activity in our lives, um, it does need needs to be a hug, okay? Because your body will every time you give it a hug, it'll say, wow, thank you so much. That strengthens me. I'm stronger. It's built my immune system, it's turned on my emotions, kingdom emotions, which turn on my immune system. Love, joy, peace, turn on your immune system. Anger, hatred, rage, turn it off. So you want to do everything you can to give your body as many hugs in a day as you can. And that might be getting rid of toxins, drinking clean water, breathing clean air, wearing protective shields from EFM waves. I mean, there's hundreds of things we can do that are hugs to our body. And there's hundreds of things we can do that are hits to our body. And our body can take a lot of hits before it breaks down. But eventually, if all we do is hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, and we're not hugging it, the body says, "I'm sorry, I am now busted," and it's gone, and it can't survive. Right? So we're going to talk for the next 45 minutes probably about hugging and hitting your body, and teach you how to give your body a whole lot of hugs so that it's in good shape. All right. So in this session, I'm going to share the greatest health discovery I've made in the last 25 years. It's a very simple thing. It's easy. It's easy to use. Set it up in your kitchen on the countertop. It's affordable. Every single home can have one very easily. I experienced instant health improvement. So did my wife. So did Charity. And now that we've shared it with other people over the last 3 years, we've got 100 testimonies online, which are available for you to download and look at of improved health from other people who we have introduced to this product. They have tried it and their health improves. So these aren't just anybody from anywhere in the internet. These are people that we introduced to it. We know them, their health improved. So I would consider that a much more valid testimony than someone that we don't know. Because I tend to need everything really, really proven to me. I don't trust much of anything. Bible said Jesus wouldn't entrust himself to any man because he knew the hearts of all men. And people are self-protective. They'll protect their job. They'll protect their salary. They'll protect their religious beliefs. And that's why the Pharisees had a fit with Jesus because he was threatening their religious beliefs and their jobs. And so they came against him. All right. So we're going to explain how you can easily get this product in your home and use it. And here's what the product looks like in case you're wondering. I'm just going to show it to you so you don't have to wonder. It's a pitcher that sits on your countertop. You just plug it into the outlet that's there. It's 110 outlet, doesn't take any special wiring. You fill it up with water to just below where that cap is there. And the cap here is a generator. And it's generating an electromagnetic field, and that cap just sits on top of this pitcher. And so you just take it off. When you want to go fill the pitcher again with water, I just take the pitcher over, I walk it over to my refrigerator. I got a water spout there that I fill my glasses of water with. So I just fill this pitcher up with it, which means that the water I'm filling it up with has already been through the purifier in the refrigerator. So it's got a lot of the pesticides out of it because this unit's not going to purify water. It's just going to change the structure of water as you push a little button there in the top of that unit. Little red light starts flashing. 30 minutes later, it goes off and it says, okay, your water has now been transformed from clustered water to single file aligned water, which is or activated water, and it's much, much healthier for your body than the clustered water coming out of your faucet. And we'll explain all of that in detail over the next 40 minutes or so. So here's what happened. Here's what my arm looked like before I drank a glass of this, what we're going to call eye water. You can call it MRET water, activated water, eye water, intelligent water, holy water. I mean, all of those are going to work. So here's my arm. There's a rash, which had been on my arm for months. Okay. And I was disgusted with it. There was no lotion or anything. I was going to take care of it. And it wasn't just that it had been on that arm for months. It had been in the other arm for months before that. It just would shift from arm to arm, and then maybe it'd go to the leg, one leg, then the other leg, then my stomach. And it'd been around for years and years, just floating around. And I knew it was my body trying to detoxify, and it's doing it through the skin. And I couldn't understand why I was that toxic because I was eating a halfway decent diet, and we were doing a lot of health things. So there we are. Now, 1 week in, after drinking this eye water, there's my arm. Okay. And today, my arm still, this is 3 years later, it still looks just like that. Both arms do, both legs do. There's been no rash on my body since I began to drink this water. So I was pretty impressed because that was an immediate response. Okay. And I have actually tried other water units before I bought this one. All right. By the way, Charity, my daughter, she introduced me to this water unit. She got it, produced health benefits for her, and I trust her and I like her. And so I said, "Oh, sure, let's just get it." I did enough research to convince me, yeah, sure, try it. And I tried it, and oh wow, now, I'd already tried the grander water unit many years ago, and that was supposed to do all sorts of wonderful things, and I never felt a single thing from drinking that water. I tried hydrogen water units, and I had tons of scientific research proving that that was supposed to do tons of great stuff for me. I never felt a thing. And I went through like 3 different hydrogen water units, okay? And yet this eye water improved my health dramatically, both mine and Patty's, within the first 4 weeks. Well, as I mentioned, the rash on my arm was gone. Patty, she had a black and blue bruise on her shin because of a bicycle accident, and that'd been there for many, many years, just hadn't gone away. And that basically faded till it's almost totally non-existent, and that happened within just a few weeks. And then her blood pressure, which was slightly high, every single week for the next 4 weeks, it went down and down and down and down until 4 weeks later, it was totally normal, which was very, very amazing. All right. And like I said, now we've got 100 real life testimonies. Now, these things that are underlined in blue are things that you can click on. And we're going to provide for you this PowerPoint also tomorrow. Let me maybe just click on this and just show you what's going to happen as you click on any of these hyperlinks, and you'll have this, all of this. So here's the 100 testimonies that Charity's put together. We got video testimonies there. We've got another 50 video testimonies here. We got just tons and tons and tons and tons, and we update that all the time. So there are 30 hyperlinks in this PowerPoint. We're not going to click on them all. I just want you to know they're there. I want you to know there's great information if you click on it. And I want you to know that you're going to have this PowerPoint that you can use permanently for yourself to review the notes from tonight. So if you think I'm going too fast and you want to go back through it slowly, you'll be able to by tomorrow night. You should have access to this, and you can slowly go through it. You can click on as many of the hyperlinks as you want to, learn as much as you want. And the cost of this particular eye water unit was a whole lot less than any of the other ones that I bought, because all the other ones were several $1,000s and this one wasn't. Okay. And then I've had two people ask me, this bottom line is my research from this last week. They've asked me about alkaline waters because they have had either are looking to buy an alkaline water unit or they have one. And I said, well, I never got one. And I have a philosophical reason why I never got one. I said, your stomach has acid in it. Okay. Basically, hydrochloric acid is what it's got. Same kind of acid that's in the battery of a car. And it's almost as low as the acid in the battery of a car. Battery car is just under 1 pH. And in your stomach, it's about 1.5 pH to 2.5 pH. And it's got to stay there because it's going to help you digest the food. It's going to kill all the pathogens and viruses that are coming down your throat. And that's the reason why we have this hydrochloric acid in our stomach. God designed it that way. And if I drink alkaline water, which is 8.5 or whatever pH instead of 7 pH, and that goes down, hits this acid in my stomach. My stomach says, I'm sorry, I have to stay at about 1.5. So we're just going to have to pour some more acid in here to get this down to where it's supposed to be. So philosophically, I couldn't understand why this would be helpful for me to drink alkaline water. And the research you can click on that particular research thing and you'll get the research I got today. And it says some people will experience an immediate benefit from alkaline water because their bodies are acidic. But then after the immediate, improvement, then it kind of wears off, and then it can become damaging because of the reason I just stated to you philosophically. It's messing up the balance in your system. Okay, so I convinced myself scientifically today that I didn't want alkaline water. I was pretty sure philosophically before today I didn't, and now I'm sure both philosophically and scientifically. So the first and most important thing I'd like us all to come to an agreement on is that it's responsible for each one of us to take responsibility for our own health. It is not the government's job to keep me healthy. It's not my doctor's job to keep me healthy. I am the CEO of my body. You are the CEO of your body. And 4 or 5 points. Don't wait for symptoms. By the time symptoms show up in your body, a problem is already well advanced. So you want to listen to your body. Notice the cravings, because those cravings are your body's calling for this or calling for that. Notice your fatigue, your mood, digestion. These are all clues as to whether your body's running smoothly or getting a little bit mucked up. And I think we need to have a shift in our consciousness from crisis management to prevention. And this is an important distinction because what happens in the hospital when I go there, we can call that medical care. I mean, they're going to sew an arm back up, stitch a person up, whatever we need, okay? What needs to happen at home is healthcare. So you got medical care in the hospital, healthcare at home. If I do a really, really good job with healthcare, and if you do, we probably can avoid the hospital. I mean, I avoided doctors and hospitals totally for 25 years straight. So I know from personal experience that we can, and I was very blessed by God to not get in an accident and need to go get stuff stitched up, which is pretty amazing because I'm kind of rowdy and it's easy for me to run into stuff. And God has protected me because Patty prays for me all the time, which I appreciate greatly. So I'm suggesting we invest in prevention rather than medical care. And that's what we have done for Patty and I for the last 40 years. It's cheaper to just buy nutrition and drink healthy water. It's easier to do this than go to the hospital and be laid up for a few weeks or a month or two. And natural approaches are more potent than any pill that you can get from a doctor. Okay. So health is not just the absence of disease, it's you and I having energy, clarity, emotional balance. Uh, I want a goal higher than not being sick. I want a goal of being vibrantly alive, full of energy, no aches, no pains. That's my goal. Okay. So it's much, much higher than I just don't want to be sick. Okay. So, and I also recommend that not only do you take, and you and I both, all of us take responsibility for our own health care and don't pawn it off on a doctor or the FDA or the pharmacy or a drug or the government. Because I don't think the Bible teaches that we should do that. I believe the Bible teaches that we should take responsibility. And my goal is to live the Bible. Whatever the Bible prescribes is the way I want to live. And I'd like to be an early adopter because we have early adopters, late adopters, and people in the middle. And we have some people who have no idea anything even happens. So I want to be an early adopter, and I suggest you be one too. And here's why. Taking scurvy, for example, it's a disease caused by vitamin D deficiency. It plagued sailors for centuries, and this James Laird, a British naval surgeon, conducted a controlled experiment back in the 1700s. He was aboard his ship. He was able to demonstrate by this experiment that citrus fruits, which are rich in vitamin C, could prevent and cure scurvy with amongst his sailors on his boat. And he was very excited about that. Took him 6 years to get his research published. Okay, it was 1753. He discovered in 47, 6 years later. So, wow. So there's 6 years that an awful lot of sailors had a lot of pain that they didn't have to have if we could have got this out quicker. Well, the British Navy did not officially adopt lemon juice as a standard uh, ration for until, oh, I can't see this because until 1975. That's a delay of 48 years. From the time it was discovered, it was 48 years before the government got around to saying, yeah, we think this would be good for everybody, which means for 48 years, if you weren't an early adopter, you lived in pain, you lived in suffering, and you didn't have to live in pain. But if you're the one of the kinds of people who say, well, if the government hasn't approved it, then I don't think I want to go for it because it might not be valid. Well, there's no verse in the Bible that I'm aware that the government has to approve a healthcare modality before I can accept it. And I really do live the Bible, okay? And so if the Bible doesn't say I have to have the government to stamp it first, then I don't say I have to have the government to stamp it first. And I sure don't. If I was one of those sailors, I mean, if I had to live 48 years with scurvy and I'm already 50, I'd be 98 by the time they got a solution to me. That's my whole life wrecked. So I want to be, and I am, an early adopter on pretty much anything and everything coming down the pike. Hand washing would be another example of wanting to be an early adopter. This Hungarian doctor who's lived in about 1850 or so, he worked in a clinic with where they did autopsies in the morning, first thing in the morning, and after that they had ladies in the maternity ward. So they went in and checked the ladies in the maternity ward who were giving birth, and there was a really high, and they didn't wash their hands. After the autopsy, there was no washing your hands, went straight to the maternity ward. So the women were had a high rate of death if you went to the hospital to have a baby. And so he did some research, tried different things to see if he could figure out why. And he finally stumbled on the fact, hey, if you wash your hands after you get done with the autopsies before you go to the women, the rate of death just plummeted. And it did. In his department, it plummeted. He was so excited. He went out and shared it with everybody. And he was quite sure they were all going to be ecstatic and, clap him on the back and say, this is awesome. But no, because that threatened the knowledge base and the philosophy of the times because there was no understanding of germs. And so they thought he was a quack and they deplatformed him, just like in the last few years, a number of doctors have been deplatformed and called quacks. because what they were offering for solutions to the crisis we've been through in the last 2 or 3 years was not the government line. And so these doctors lost their licenses, they were deplatformed, they were ridiculed, they were mocked, they lost their jobs. And so he did lose his job. He was forced out of his city, he was forced out of his nation. He ended up dying in another country. He was in a mental hospital by that point in time, and it was decades later before hand washing was accepted. And you know what? Top line here says hand washing was rediscovered in 1846 because God already talked about washing your hands in the Old Testament. It was part of the laws and the Levitical laws for handling discharges that came from the body and leprosy and things like that. So again, if I'm honoring the Bible, living the Bible, I'm going to know this, and I won't have lost it for 1,000 years or whatever period of time that was, and then had someone rediscover it, and then somebody spent another several decades fighting it and saying we're not going to accept it because the government hasn't stamped it. So if I'm going to take responsibility for my health, how in the world do I discover truth? I mean, that's a big job because there's a whole lot of institutions that in my childhood and up until even 4 or 5 years ago, institutions in America that I thought I could trust as providing truth to me. And it became clearly obvious to me they were not providing truth. They were lying and deceiving. And that's enough to give an awful lot of people in America post-traumatic stress syndrome because their worldview has been shaken by what we've been through in the last 3 or 4 years. So since the Bible doesn't say trust government institutions to give you truth, what does the government say should be the process you and I should use to discover truth? And I am actually sharing with you the process that I use to discover truth, and it's right here. And then the outworking of that will be the next bunch of slides. We started out with humility. Okay, like I don't know everything. No pride. I don't have to defend anything. I just want life to work. Okay. And if I have to change my mind on one thing, 10 things, 100 things, everything, I don't care. I'm changing my mind. It's called repenting. Repent means change your mind. I love to change my mind. Okay. Because it lets me move into a new direction and get further down the road of life. And Bible does say that we're on a highway that gets brighter and brighter till the dawning of the full day of Christ. So, and it mentions that Old and New Testament. So if my path and your path is getting brighter and brighter, that means I'm seeing new things, different perspectives. I'm changing all the time, as opposed to people who say, I'm going to live in this box, and here's the really sharp edges. God said, nope, you are not in a box. You're on a highway. You're on a path. And there's illumination, greater and greater illumination that takes place all the time if you let it. Particularly if you're hearing God's voice, because He gives words of wisdom, words of knowledge, discernment of spirits, creativity. And so here are 6 of the primary ways that I have identified from Scripture that God wants to communicate to me and to you, and to give us revelation knowledge, give us His thoughts, because He said, "Look, my thoughts are different than yours, are higher than yours, are different than yours." And so don't lean on your own thinking. He said, you need to learn to trust your heart, listen to your heart. Identify heart as flow. Out of your heart flows the river of life. Okay. So the Bible mentions flow numerous times in numerous ways. And so I've discovered, hey, man, tune to flow and live in flow. Fix your eyes on Jesus, ask for the Spirit to give me revelation, tune to flow, and the flow in my heart, through my heart, will lead me. So I want flow coming through the Scripture. So I want illumined Scripture. Thy words a lamp unto my feet. So it means reading brighter and brighter. Verses leap off the page as I read the Bible. That's flow that causes them to leap. That's the flow of the Holy Spirit. I want that to happen. That's one of my ways of acquiring truth. Another way is anointed reasoning. Bible says, "Come, let us reason together." God said, "Don't reason alone. Don't lean on your own understanding." So I say, "Okay, Jesus, I thank you so much as true Emmanuel, God with me, and I see you present with me because you are present with me, and I'm asking for your input here, and I'm tuning to the flow of your Spirit that lives within me." And then flow guides my thinking process. So it's not Mark Verkler guiding it with an iron fist. It's flow guiding my thinking process. That's reasoning together with God. I do that. That's one of the ways I hear God's voice. Spiritual counsel from friends. Bible does say in the multitude of counselors, there's wisdom and safety. I would like my counselors to be ahead of me in the area we're talking about. So since we're talking about health tonight, I would like them to be ahead of me in the area of health, which means I would like them to look healthier than I look. Okay. I'd like them to know more about health than I know. And for sure, man, when I look at you, you should be radiant. All right. Because if you're not radiant and you're going to teach me how to become radiant, I don't think you are because you can't take me someplace that you're not. So I do want them to look healthier than me. Fruit. The Bible says you can test things by their fruit. So I said, okay, fine. I'm going to try this product for a month and I'm going to see if I feel anything any different. Uh, I don't always have to feel something different. I might take a multivitamin just because I think it's good for me. But if I'm got a really good one, I probably will feel more energy. And man, when I do feel different, radically different, then I get very excited because I know I've really hit the right product, doing the right thing. It's a hug to my body, and I'd like to share it because that's good news. Because as a Christian, we're in the process in the business of sharing good news with the people. So when I find good news, all my life I've shared it, whether it's spiritual good news, how to hear God's voice, how to see vision, whether it's natural health, how to get healthy and avoid having to go to doctors all the time and take medication all the time. I'm very thankful to say that at 73, I have no aches, I have no pains, I take no medications, and everything works in my body. And I thank God deeply for that. I'm very thankful because when I first started this 40 years ago, I said, I can't teach with authority on health until I've lived it for 30 years and I've arrived at old age or older age and it's worked and I'm healthy. And well, I am. I'm in my seventh decade and I am healthy and we take walks every day or bike rides every day. And my wife and I, we exercise. And so I'm really thankful for the life God's given us. Peace. Okay, it's another way that God speaks to me. Deep in my heart, I want to feel peace, not unrest, not uneasiness, like, oh, I don't feel right about this. So there's two levels of emotion, a soulish level that's more surfacey, reacts to surfacey stuff. And then there's a deep peace that reacts to the movement of the Holy Spirit in my heart. So I'm talking about the deep peace of the Holy Spirit, not a surfacey emotional reaction. Okay. And then also God's direct voice, just through a vision, through prophecy, through journaling, through a dream. So these are, the Bible clearly has verses for all six of these, and I use all six of these for any major decision. Particularly, I want these all with green lights. I don't want any red light flashing here for any of these six. And if it's a major decision and something's flashing red, I'm going to hold off on the decision until there's nothing flashing red. So this is my epistemology. This is which is epistemology is a word I learned in college. It's the biggest word I learned, so I like to use it once in a while to let you know I went to college. But it means it's your system. It means system for knowing. This is my system for knowing truth. Because if I'm going to take responsibility for my health, I really need to have a solid system for knowing truth. And I think that solid system should come from the Bible. And what the Bible teaches is the path to truth. And this, like I say, there's verses to back up every one of these points. So I did skip mentioning double-blind studies, and some people say, well, if you don't have a double-blind study, it's surely, it's surely very like a quack. You're still a quack, okay? So let's talk about double-blind studies for a minute. So how much money does it cost to come to truth using a double-blind study? Well, if it's a medium-sized clinical trial, it's going to cost $1 to $5 million. Who's got that in your pocket for change? If it's a large scale clinical trial, it's going to cost 10 to $100 million dollars. So this is okay. And you're and the rules for double blind study, you can only test one thing at a time. Okay. We're going to test vitamin C. It's got to be just vitamin C. You can't mix it with anything else that might be synergistic with vitamin D and make your body assimilate it better. You can't do that. You got to just one thing at a time. Well, that's kind of ridiculous because my body is an organism that has a whole host of different synergetic things working together and they're going to work best when the synergy of all of them are together moving in the same direction. And the fact that double-blind studies say you can't even test it for synergy, I think, well, that's a ridiculous place to start. Okay. And then the other question, the big question I have is, would God make discovering truth this out of reach to the common man that no individual would have the money to do a study like this? And so no individual could come to truth. And I don't believe that my God does that. Okay. I believe he's passionate that we come to truth. And nowhere in the Bible does it recommend a double-blind study. It does recommend the multiple counselors. And like I say, I want two or three counselors ahead of me who are radiantly healthy, okay, and who know about health. Those are the people who can lead me forward. So here's some comments on people who've been in charge of these double-blind studies. I'm going to give you two or three comments that are going to blow your mind, okay? First, from Harvard Medical School, Dr. Marcia. She was the editor-in-chief of the New England Journal of Medicine for 20 years. Now, this is the major medical publication that double-blind studies get published in, that laws in our country are based on the research that's in them, that the FDA builds protocols from these articles that are in there. So this what happens in this journal, these double-blind studies, they have a huge impact on our nation and upon the rules that your doctor and my doctor have to follow, okay? And the laws that we have to follow. So here's what she says. It's simply, this is after 20 years of being the editor-in-chief of the magazine that publishes double-blind studies for doctors. It's no longer possible to believe much of the clinical research that's published, where she's the one putting it in a magazine, or to rely upon the judgment of trusted physicians or authoritative medical guidelines. I take no pleasure in this conclusion, which I reached slowly and reluctantly over my 2 decades as the editor of the New England Journal of Medicine. Okay, 20 years she's out of there and says, I don't trust this anymore. Well, Dr. Mark, he's a member of the editorial board of the Journal of Medicine Veritas. He explained that science is broken, and it's broken because of the whole money issue. He's quoting him. He said, the reason for this disaster is clear: the power of money. In academic institutions, the current dynamics of research is more favorable to the ability of getting a grant, collecting money, and spending it than it is to finding truth or creativity. All right, so he says science has been perverted by money. And I will say to you, science perverted by money is not going to lead us to truth. Now, Lancet is another one of these major medical magazines that double-blind studies are published in, and laws are created because of what's in these things, and doctors' rules that they have to follow are instituted by the FDA because of what's in here. Now, here's what Lancet's former editor-in-chief, Richard Horton, who in 2015 said, the case against science is straightforward. Much of the scientific literature, perhaps half, may simply be untrue. And he should know science has taken a turn towards darkness. And now Robert F. Kennedy Jr., our current Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services under President Trump, said this just a couple of weeks ago. And by the way, that's a blue highlighted hyperlink there. So if you get these PowerPoints tomorrow afternoon, you can click on that. You can go to it and see exactly where he said it's been reported in numerous magazines. He said, we're probably going to stop publishing in the Lancet, New England Journal of Medicine, JAMA, and other journals because they're all corrupt. The journals, he explained, published unreproducible studies funded by the pharmaceutical industry. So that's earth-shattering because a lot of the protocols, rules, laws that we have are based on faulty science. And since the Bible says you can test the fruit of something, let's take a look at the fruit of what's going on in our nation compared to other nations. On the left side here, you see that there's 200 nations ranked by life expectancy. And I would think that the goal of a good healthcare system would be that we live a little bit longer than people who have a bad healthcare system. And here's a partial list of these 200. You see the United States is listed there as the 48th nation in longevity, with the average person in America living 79.46 years. Whoa. Okay. Do you consider that good fruit? I mean, I thought we should be the healthiest nation in the world because I'm assuming we're probably spending the most money. And then, yeah, we are spending the most money. Here's the healthcare per person annually. On the left side, America spends much more than any one of the other 200 nations. And here's all the countries listed for the top on down. Not United States was right in the top there. And we are paying. Whoops, that was 12,000. I'm sorry, I just took us forward. 12,000. 12,000 per year per person. Now, here's a couple of hyperlinks. One is on longevity of all nations, and the other is the annual cost. I'm going to click on both of them just to give you some sort of an idea of what you can access. It's really fun stuff, okay? Here's life expectancy of the world population by the world meter, okay? Um, and countries ranked by life expectancy as of this year, 2025, okay? Hey, the best country to live in for longevity is Hong Kong, 85 years. This is both sexes, okay? Women live about 4 to 5 years longer than their husbands. You'll see that because here's women in this column here, and they're 88 years, and the men are, 83. So what do we got? 5 year difference there. And you're going to find that's consistent through all the nations, okay? So here's countries in the 80s, okay? 85, 85, 84, 84, 84, 84, 84, 84, top eight to 10 nations are they're in their 80s, pushing towards their mid 80s. And we said America was 48. Let's see if America is 48 on this list here. There it is, United States. Okay, the average lifespan, again by them, as of this last year, 79 years, not 84, 85. We're dying a half a decade sooner. A half a decade sooner. And yeah, sure, there's the women, 82 years, there's the men, 77. So we got 4 to 5 years. I'm probably supposed to be dying about 4 or 5 years before Patty. That's just kind of the way it is. All of these nations above 48, these are all nations that all live longer. Czech Republic, Kuwait, Taiwan, Costa Rica, 81 years. Here's Germany. There's Germany. Um, 81 years. They're living several years longer than us. Okay, so let's go back to this Excel thing. How about annual healthcare cost? Okay, so we're going to click on that one. It's going to open up all 200 nations. So here's Germany right there, number 13. Their healthcare cost is 8,000. And the chart we had just two PowerPoints back, we were at 12,000. They're paying 1/3 less for the privilege of living several years longer. Now, if the Bible says you can test things by their fruit, which the Bible clearly says you can, I look at this and I say, this fruit is horrible. This doesn't make any sense that we can spend more than any nation in the world and be 1/4 of the way down the list. Uh, and so it says to me, I mean, you can draw any conclusion you want to. My conclusion is the system's broken. The healthcare and agricultural system is broken. And if I trust it, I'm going to be dying several years earlier than people in other countries are. In Germany, here we are. Okay, so let's take a look at, we're going to go back and look at Germany here in the next PowerPoint here. There's Germany and UF lifespans compared. The men do live several years longer in Germany than they do in the US. German healthcare costs is only 2/3 of the US. Why? I'm going to give you 2 or 3 reasons why I think this could be, and I'm sorry, let's go back up here. Germans did not throw out natural healing processes. Man, I got to quit clicking on that. Don't do it. All right. So the Germans did not throw out natural healing modalities when they accepted pharmaceutical medicine. And America, when we accepted pharmaceutical medicine, we threw out all natural healing remedies. Um, Herbs, we threw it out. Homeopathics, we threw it out. There is no licensed doctor in America today, MD, who can recommend an herb or a homeopathic to you to get over a sickness or a disease without losing his license and being deplatformed. So they tied his hands when pharmaceutical drugs came in and they said there's only one thing you can promote. That's pharmaceutical drugs. Why? Well, but they can obviously make a ton of money with pharmaceutical drugs, and with herbs and homeopathics, you're not going to make much at all. Okay. So I do think we're back to it being driven by money. Okay. And I don't think it's wise to throw out herbs because the Bible says God gave herbs for the service of mankind. Okay. And I don't think it's wrong to bad to throw. I think it's bad to throw out homeopathics too because there's energy in the homeopathic solution, and we are energy organism. The Bible's made pretty clear on that. Okay, and it's the power of God that heals us. One of the words there is energios in the Greek, which is active energy. And when Jesus laid hands on people and people touched them, they could feel energy flowing into them. So is the Bible big on energy medicine? You better believe it. That's what Jesus did. That's what the anointing was. And I'm really big on energy medicine and anything that's energy focused in the field of medicine, I consider it lining it up directly with scripture and with the anointing of the spirit and the way God healed. And drugs, man, they got a little few problems with scripture because the word is pharmakia and it's a word for witchcraft in the Bible. So, and if you listen to any advertisement for a drug, they're going to say, here's all the ways it can kill you and will hurt you, that's not good fruit. I'm not looking for take anything in my mouth that has the potential to kill me. And where did the drug come from? Half the drugs in the market today, they came from the root of an herb. Because the reason herbs are great is because they come from the roots of trees, the bark of trees, or the leaves of trees. And all three of those are antifungal and antibacterial because a tree has to ward off insects. So herbs are antifungal and antibacterial, which is what my body needs when it's trying to fight something off, a fungus or a bacteria. And herbs will do that very well. They got nice buffers built around them, so they're not caustic and they're not going to have horrible side effects like a drug will. So what they do with a drug is they take the essential ingredient that they found in the herb, they modify it slightly so they can patent it and make money off it because you can't make money off something that's natural. And of course, when your body looks at this somewhat unnatural thing, it says, I don't know what to do with this. This is nothing I can handle very well. And that's why one of the repercussions of taking drugs is death and blindness and everything else under the sun, because they altered the basic thing, they multiplied it by tenfold, they stripped away the buffers that the herb has, so they defiled an herb by turning it into a drug. So yeah, I don't take any drugs. I do take herbs, absolutely. I believe in them. I love them. I like them. Okay. So that's one reason. Okay. Germany didn't throw out all this kind of medicine, which has 2,000 years at least of historical roots of being effective. And America threw it all out and tied your doctor's hands and said, you cannot prescribe any of this to any of your patients, or we will take your license, take your job, take your salary, and deplatform you and mock you out. And they did a lot of that with doctors outside the box in the last 2 years. That's exactly what they did. Now, the other thing is this whole gluten issue. And that's a link that you can click on. It'll take you to research I put together today because I had a few people talk to me about this in the last 2 weeks. And and one of the questions I asked Perplexity AI, which is a free AI program I use, I ask it two or three questions, and one was, is gluten damaging to your health? And it said, absolutely. Okay, I have glutens in breads and things like that. All right. And it gave a whole list of ways that it's damaging to your health. Okay. And I said, well, is there a difference in gluten, the gluten that's in Germany as opposed to the glutens in America? I asked Perplexity AI. It said, yeah, there's a really big difference. And it went through and listed all the big differences, really big differences, which is why the gluten in our bread is corrupted, which means our bread is corrupted. And even though God said, give us this today our daily bread, he didn't mean the corrupted bread that we're eating today in America. It was the kind of bread that they're eating in Germany. So that's another reason why they get to live longer than we do. All right. And then the other, so, Patty and I did go gluten-free a few years ago. And we both feel much better than we ever did when we were eating the regular Western diet. And we also went to a ketogenic diet. Okay. And if you click on those links, it's going to take you over to more research. It's going to show you a good place to find a lot of good information about the ketogenic diet. Okay. All right. So now we're going to switch over to this eye water, talk about water for a few minutes. The Bible says, this first across the top, Leviticus 17:11, the life of the flesh, okay, that's my body, okay, it's in the blood. So if my blood is in good shape, then probably there's going to be a pulse of life, really vibrant life going into my flesh. And I want a pulse of vibrant life going into my flesh. How do I get my blood in really good shape? Well, this chart says here's the water. Water is the most crucial nutrient in the human being. All right. About 60 to 70% of our body weight is water. Okay. If you go down to the bottom here between their legs, um, and it says, what percentage of your blood is made up of water? The percentage of your blood that's made up of water is 94%. So if this eye water unit from Gia can change the blood and make it radically better, which it can, and I'm going to show you how and why in a few minutes here, then it's going to affect the blood and make the blood radically better, and the blood is going to affect my flesh and make my flesh but radically better. And that's why we have 100 healing testimonies now from people we introduced this to, in addition to our own testimonies, saying, hey, health broke out here and here and here and here and here. And you say, well, how do I know what's going to get healed? Well, I'll tell you what, your body's intelligent because God made it intelligent. Your body knows exactly what it's got to heal first, and it's going to heal what needs to go first, and what needs to go second. And it's going to work your way through right through a whole process of healings, which is remarkable. If you notice here, your eyes, they're 95% water. So vision ought to improve. Heart, 75% water. Oh my goodness. Muscles, 75%. Lungs, 85%. Kidneys, brain, 83%. All these organs in your body are going to function so much better because we have a really high quality water going into your system. So concerning water, the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2003 was given to this Dr. Peter, who worked as a university professor, and he received it for his discovery of aquaporin water channels. And what he proved and won the Nobel Prize for was the proof that water must be in single filed line to enter our cells. And if you click on this link, you'll learn more, okay? And we'll take you in. So just take my word for it for now. He did win the Nobel Prize. Now, again, since I don't trust a lot of people, a Nobel Prize winner that's somewhat trustworthy, I think. Okay, all right. So this is we're building trust towards the fact that we might have something here. Um, and then this other guy, Dr. Smirnov, he's a Russian doctor who he got a U.S. patent for a unit, this countertop unit that I showed you a picture of a few minutes ago. And he says, the patent says this unit will create single file aligned liquids, whatever liquid you put in. If you put water in, it's going to turn the water from clustered, clumped water to single file aligned water. You put milk in, it's going to just do the same thing. Put juice in, it's going to do the same thing. Um, Whatever you put in, it's going to make it single file aligned. Now, I think I trust the patent office, as far as I know, to a very great extent. So these are two counselors that are pretty trustworthy. Okay. So that's good. So how does this IH2O system activate water or change water? The IH2 activator generates a frequency field, and that frequency field bombards the clustered water molecules. Now, it doesn't actually touch the water because when you fill it up, you just fill it up 4 inches from the top of the pitcher so that the water is not touching the generator that's generating a field that's going down into the water. Push a button, 30 minutes later, the water molecules are single file aligned. And the patent says, yes, that's true. I had one person who went out and tried to share this with her friends. I said, that's ridiculous. That's stupid because water just swishes all over the place and there's no such thing as single file aligned versus clustered, and just mock the whole thing out. So if I'm going to be dealing with a mocker, the Bible's very clear about mockers. Bible says, do not answer a mocker. Okay. So, because a mocker's not seeking truth. And so you find people who are hungry, who are open, who are seeking truth. Those are the ones you get to talk to. So if water is single file aligned, here's what they found. 3 times more water goes into every cell of your body. That means 3 times more nutrition goes into every cell of your body. 3 times more toxins come out. So you're going to detoxify to a much greater level. You're going to nourish your cells to a much better level. Those are 2 of the 3 keys to naturopath knows produce tremendous health. Okay, now I'm going to show you a video, and this video is astounding. I want you to watch it very closely. This is water, um, and the effect of drinking a glass of eye water on a person's blood within just a very short period of time.
In our first subject, we can see agglutination of the red blood cells. This person considers himself in good health. We can see, however, a uric acid crystal or debris in his blood. He consumed filtered water without making a noticeable change. After consuming 16 ounces of IH2O, we can observe that his red blood cells are completely detached. As we know, oxygenation affects the biological terrain. What a wonderful reaction. Subject.
Okay, so if you go to this link here, you can watch all six. She goes through six different subjects showing the impact of GIA products on their blood under a microscope. Okay, so that's very powerful. When I saw that video, since I know that life is in the blood, and I saw the blood transformed that radically by drinking one glass of this water, I was sold. I said, yes, I'm buying the unit. That's all I needed to see because I know life is in the blood. And I know when you transform the blood, you transform your health. So that might be enough for you too, okay? Because even though I'm giving you a ton of stuff, you may not need it all. I'm just letting you know it's there. And whatever jumps off the page and God says, hey, this is for you, take this home and this will help you make your decision, then that's what you should go with. So this eye water, here's some of the experiments that have been done by Smirnoff, and they're in his book. He has a book on that I have, and I'll show you in a minute when I get done sharing my screen. And here's regular water on the left side here, and activated water on day one. And both of these onions, I guess is what they are. They're the same size. By the time we get to day five, you can see the activated water, the onion is growing better, stronger, larger. Oh, that's the kind of stuff I want to have happen in my body, healthier, okay? And look at here, by the time we get to the 16th day, look at how much greater growth has taken place when they were fed activated water. I want that in my body, okay? Here's again on the left side, it's regular regular water, clustered water. And then after it's been sprayed with eye water, look at how the leaves of this lettuce have come alive. And I think this was Sue. Sue's going to be on later on today. She can tell you for sure, but I think this is an experiment that she did, okay, and gave us the pictures of, okay? Here's some more stuff from Smirnoff. In his book, he's got all these pictures are in his book, and his book is really scientific, and it's pretty much over my head, but the pictures aren't over my head. The pictures are worth 1,000 words. So here's milk. Here's regular milk. Here's activated milk on day one, and they're both fine. But you leave them out on the counter on day four, while the regular milk, it obviously has some bacteria, fungus, whatever, growing in it. And if you see the activated milk, doesn't you don't see anything visible growing in it yet. By the time you get to day six, the regular milk is really getting gross. Activated milk still looks pretty decent. I'm not sure I want to drink it. Maybe I would, but and by the time you get down to the end of this experiment here, look at look at the regular milk. It's gross beyond belief, okay? And day nine. And the activated milk just beginning to show signs of a little bit of bacterial growth. I want this in my body. I want this activated stuff in my body because it's going to slow down the growth of fungi and bacteria, and it's going to increase the nourishment to my cells. This is what I want in my body. And here's proof that this patent that says this activator does this and that it produces these effects, here's evidence, visible evidence to me that's convincing to me that, yeah, this is probably going to have a profound impact on my health. All right, so moving on. So here's his book, Smirnoff's book, Molecular Resonance Effect Technology. MRET water. It's another phrase they use for this eye water, MRET water, same thing. The dynamic effects on human physiology. And he co-authored, Smirnoff co-authored it with Howard Fisher. Here's a summary statement from the book. Since the book is kind of pretty much over my head, and most of you probably don't want to read a whole book anyway, here's a summary of what MRET or IH2O, same thing. Here's what it will do. It performs the following. It increases hydration in your body, and most people are underhydrated. Nutrient absorption is increased. Cellular detoxification is increased. Enhanced immune response is increased. Man, you're talking about what a naturopath wants. This is everything a naturopath wants. You have decreased inflammation. Aging is all about inflammation growing in your body. It's antibacterial. The water actually knocks out bacteria. And you saw that visibly in the previous slide where bacteria did not grow in the milk. It's antiviral. I want that in my body. It's anti-tumor. Wow. We're talking cancer now. And he did see cancer tumors in mice go into remission. Okay. It inhibits the growth of mutated cells, which will be cancer cells, arthritic cells, things like that. It reduces their growth. So, hey, this is pretty much everything I want to live vibrantly healthy and for another few decades before the Lord decides to take me home. Now, if you don't want to read the whole book, which I do not recommend the whole book because it's just, well, it was over my head, okay? Here's from the book, a 14-page summary by Smirnoff, and you can download it by clicking there. And one of the questions that I answered tonight for me just before the session, like how does water make viruses die, and bacteria die, And here's a statement that's from these 14 pages. It's right in the front of these 14 pages, and then it goes on to explain how this all works in depth. The effect of activated water on molecular complexes such as bacteria, viruses, and abnormal cells can be explained by the fundamental physical phenomenon of electromagnetism, such as resonance, constructive, and destructive interference. Now, if you're not sure what all that means, join the club. I'm not sure either, but he does go on for 14 pages to explain it. And for me, I've read enough of him, trusted him enough, trust the videos of the change in the water and saw what happened to the milk to say, okay, fine, I'm just going to accept this. Benefits. I love it. Okay, so that's the eye water, the science behind the eye water. Okay. Now, Gia's product line has two additional key energy technologies woven into it. And so this is a 90-second explanation by Gia. And I want you just to listen to it. We'll listen to it together.
An important day is coming for every American with money in the markets. And it'll be here sooner than you think.
Skip the ad. There we go.
MRET and ERT, two of Gia's top technologies, work together very harmoniously. Here's a very simple analogy and explanation to illustrate their functions. We know electromagnetic radiation is a threat to our health and wellness, and we need to protect ourselves. Let's compare it to the days of old, when a knight in shining armor needed to fend off the dangerous arrows of an attacker. Think of those arrows as EMR, or electromagnetic radiation. They represent the incoming threat. Gia's patented technology, MRET, has the ability to intercept that EMF arrow and essentially break off the sharp, dangerous tip, rendering it a relatively harmless stick. The other technology is energy resonance technology, or ERT, which reinforces the body's armor, or biofield. That armor needs to be kept strong and resilient so we are better equipped to battle stress and environmental forces. ERT keeps our armor strong and ready. So you end up with dual protection. MRET that thwarts incoming threats, and ERT, another that strengthens the body's defense mechanisms. Together, MRET and ERT are the optimal battle partners in the fight against electromagnetic radiation.
Okay, so that's two more energy technologies, which are patented by Smirnoff and are woven into all of Gia's products. Okay. So let's talk about energy for a second. It was Einstein who came up with E equals mc squared, showing that there was a direct relationship between energy and matter. Okay. E is energy, mc was matter. And of course, Jesus demonstrated that because as the power left his hand and entered people, a lady with an issue of blood, she could feel power. He felt power leave her. She could feel power enter. She was healed. Her body was healed. Matter was changed. So we know that that's the kind of thing that happens when Jesus is touching people and energy is flowing. Okay. So the natural frequencies that God has created, they support life. And if you go for a walk along the beach, it's soothing, it's healing to your entire beings because those are God's frequencies that your body is soaking up. But then the man-made frequencies are things like G5, Wi-Fi, etc. They put our bodies into fight or flight mode. And Gia uses 3 patented proprietary blends of frequencies that strengthen the body, and it's woven into all of the products in their product line, no matter what you're buying from them. Now here's the patents. There's all 4 of Smirnoff's patents. If you click on this hyperlink right here, you're going to find all 4 of them right there. Here's one of them again, composition for protection against electromagnetic radiation exposure. So here's a patent saying, yeah, he's produced something that will protect you from Wi-Fi waves, from EMF waves that are hitting you from your router, from your TV, from a computer screen. Well, that's great because man-made frequencies are wreaking havoc on my cells, and it's going to protect. I'm wearing their protective devices on my iPhone and wherever my body. It's going to it's going to fight another battle for me that my body won't have to fight because it's going to shield me from this. And their cell phone protection unit that Gia sells, this here talks about SAR, specific absorption rate, response test results. It's the impact of the radiation coming from your iPhone when it's turned on and up to your ear, how much is absorbed into the brain. And if you'll see here on the left, where they do not have Gia's cell phone guard on the phone, this really red hot spot is showing in the middle of your brain is showing a tremendous amount of radiation is being absorbed. And now the picture on the right, you've got a Gia cell phone guard on, and there's no red hot thing in the center of your brain. Okay, it's reduced the amount of radiation that you're absorbing. Well, that's good. That's one of the hugs that you give to your body. And like I say, the more hugs you give, the healthier you are. The more hits you give, the more damage you do. So we're just going to remove one hit and replace it with a hug. And the water is going to remove a hit and replace it with a hug. Okay. And so now we're going to go on to another one of Gia's products, which Charity's going to get into showing you each one of these, talking about them in more detail. I Thrive. It's a nutritional drink that they have, and it has a really high auric value, like probably just about the highest you've ever ran across by way of a number, 50,500. Now, auric is the measurement of the ability to work as an antioxidant in your body. Apples, they have an auric value of 750. That's a long ways away from 50,000. Kale, well, it's very healthy. These are healthy foods. It's 442 auric value, still a long ways away from 50,000. Spinach, 400 auric value. Blueberries, 1,100. So just to take a look at this, 1 gram of Gia's proprietary blend has an auric value equal to that of nearly 15 servings of fruits and vegetables, and there's 28 grams in 1 ounce of iThrive. So the cap on the iThrive bottle holds an ounce, and they say just fill the cap up with iThrive. It's a liquid, and it's just full of nutrition. It's got 50,000 auric value, full of nutrition, powerful nutrition. Dump it into your eye water, okay? And so 1 serving of this iThrive is going to be equal to 420 servings of fruits and vegetables. And use that. Well, I don't know if I can believe that. I say, you know what? I'm with you. I don't know if I can believe that either. So I'll tell you what, I'll just, since I know nutrition is really important, I think I'll just try it for a month. Their eye Thrive and dump a capful into my eye water, at least one a day. and just see how I'm feeling at the end of the month. I mean, that's an experiment, and the fruit of life will tell me if I'm better, the same, worse, whatever. So that's their I Thrive product, which Patty and I both take a capful of that every single day in a glass of eye water. Now we're going to talk about another one of their products, which is Cleanse. But before we talk about cleansing, we're going to talk about how toxic the world is that we live in. God designed our bodies to run on 60 basic chemicals. And since 1950, which was about when I was born, 350,000 new chemicals have been created by the scientific community. 350,000 new in my lifetime. So my ancestors didn't have to fight with these 350,000 chemicals. I have to fight with them, and you have to fight with them. More than 3,600 food packaging chemicals are found in the human bodies. These are 3,600 that our ancestors didn't have to fight with. Okay, we've got to fight with them. So we have a bigger battle today than they've ever had in the past. And Gia's solution is have single file line water and have cleanse and put them together. Okay, so let's take a look at cleanse. Cleanse cleanses your body, cleanses your cells. It's a gentle detox. I've done different kinds of cleanses. I've done a colon cleanse. I've done a kidney cleanse. I've done different kinds of cleanses. I've done fasting, which is also great for cleansing. Done the master cleanse over the course of my life. This has been the easiest cleanse that I've ever done. It is gentle. It hits every single cell of your body. And since I'm mixing it with eye water, it's going to go into my cells 3 times faster than anything else. So what does it do? It fights gut inflammation and supports digestive system. It's a proprietary blend of aloe vera, ginger, turmeric, and a variety of other renowned ingredients. Patented single file alignment technology makes it 3 times more absorbable than other nutrition that I would take, other cleanses I might take and buy from a company. Okay, and I've bought a lot of them from a lot of different companies. So you can take I Thrive and Cleanse separately. It's a capful in 2 different glasses of water. Or you can mix them both in 1 glass of water. Well, I like them both ways. It's absolutely delicious both ways. Okay. And Charity will talk about doing a deep cleanse, where instead of just taking 1 ounce of cleanse a day, you really tank up on it, for 2 or 3 weeks or 4 or 5 weeks, and she'll explain what it is, and the results are absolutely remarkable. Okay, Karen, my administrative assistant who works in my office, she lost 30 pounds when she got on the cleanse, and she also said she's offered Tums and she's offered Tylenol. I will let you know that Patty and I both say our digestive systems are much happier than they've been in decades and decades and decades, okay, on Gia products, on the Gia water and the cleanse and the I Thrive. And we're on all 3 of them, okay, all the time. So here's one person's testimony who did the deep cleanse, which again, Charity will describe in detail what that is. She said a few years back, this is Jody's testimony, and she's a lady who's, okay, a few years back, I was plagued with extreme ongoing fatigue, not just feeling well at all. After several rounds of antibiotics and no improvement, I went to see a naturopath. He stated I had heavy metal and pesticide poisoning. He put me on an extremely tough detox protocol. I saw him every 6 weeks, and the toxicity numbers were going down, but really slowly. After being on his program for about 8 months, I decided to try the Gia cleanse. I did a full cleanse day, 2 days a week, which is what you do when you're doing this deep cleanse. 2 days a week, you do it for 6 weeks. And upon my visit to the naturopath, my numbers had gone to 0. He said he couldn't believe it. He'd never seen anything like it. He was so impressed with the effectiveness of the products. He joined the company, joined Gia. I love this product. It's so gentle, and it detoxified her entire body. Okay. She'd been working for months, made hardly no progress. Deep cleanse with Gia's cleanse product. Deep protocol for the deep cleanse fixed her. I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay. So I'm pretty much winding down here. I'm going to be giving this over to Charity in just a second, but summary statements here about the Gia company and the product packages, which Charity will introduce you to several different product packages that that they put on a huge sale, and they're going to be available on an extra big sale until the end of this month. So the IH2O unit, you say, well, how long does this last? Well, it's designed to last 39 years for a single user. So since Patty and I are both using it, we can cut that in half. So we get probably 20 years out of that. Okay, so I can, in my investment in this product, I can phase out over a 20-year period. Okay, that's pretty decent. And there's no filters to replace in it. No filters to clean because nothing's touching the water. It's just an electromagnetic field hitting the water and changing it. So nothing to clean, nothing to change. So that's a pretty good lifespan. It's sure better than my car. Yeah, my car, I'm hoping for 10 years if I'm lucky before it rusts out. And that's not going to cost me what? That's going to cost me 25,000 minimum, probably, maybe probably more. This is going to be a fraction of that. And I sure don't want my body rusting out in 10 years. So when I could compare this to what I'm going to put into a car, there's no comparison. This is a steal, okay? G is a US-based company. Products are manufactured in the US. G is 15 years old, so it's not fly by night. It's been debt-free since day one, which is fabulous, which means it's not going bankrupt or anything. It's done over $100 million in sale, and it's paid out in commissions to people sharing the Gia product line. It's paid out 50 million. So 50 cents on every dollar that comes in, they pay it back to you, to me. If you get excited about this, if you get on this and you say, oh my gosh, my health improved and I believe in sharing good news, I'm going to tell a few of my friends about it. You're going to get paid really, really nicely. And a few of your friends, if they go ahead and buy this packet that you buy, you're going to probably find out that most of the cost of your packet got covered in the commissions that Gia paid you back. And that's been definitely true for Charity and I. So it can be totally free for you if you're a person who likes to share good news. I have been in probably a dozen network marketing companies over the course of 40 years. I made a sheet many years ago on 32 traits that I thought should be in a good network marketing company. And if you click on that link, it'll take you over to my chart and you can download it, you know. And I've compared all 12 companies. The best company I ever found got about 28 of the 32 traits fulfilled, and it was a great company, you know. Gia is the only company that meets all 32 traits of an excellent network marketing company or friendship marketing company, whatever you want to call it. And then Charity, in a few minutes, are going to cover this last point here, which is an overview of the different product packages that are available. Okay. Okay, that's called a fire hose. If you feel like you're drowning, you probably are. That's why we're going to make this PowerPoint available in an email link to you tomorrow. You can go back to it at your own pace. You can click on anything you want to and learn whatever you want. Thank you for listening. Your questions, write them down. We will get to them shortly. Charity Kayambe is my daughter. She works full-time for us in the ministry. She's a wonderful lady. She's written several books, co-authored a few with me, written some on her own, traveled the world as a traveling teacher on several courses on Christian spirituality. One is on Christian dream interpretation. I consider her the best in the world on that. And also, of course, on everyday angels. The Bible said God sent angels and they're messengers, and there's hundreds of verses in the Bible on that. So she's teaching people, hey, they're around you. You can see them, So she's very innovative, very creative, very cutting edge. She's the one who found Gia products first. She called me up and said, hey, Dad. Okay. And she told me about it. And I think I watched the video probably on the impact on water, on the water when you drink Gia water. And as soon as I saw that, I said, okay, that's all I need to see because I know the power of the blood to heal my body. So I was ready to buy right away. So if you say, well, Mark, do I have to go through all that research you went through and look up all those things? I don't think so. I didn't have to go through it all. I just needed to see the video on the water and hear Charity's testimony that she got better. And I said, fine, I'm going to try it for 30 days and see what it does for me. And we both felt a lot better. And it's the only time I've drank water from any system that's given me an immediate physical change in my body. So I'm very excited about it. And I'm very excited to share it with you because I believe in sharing good news. I've been a minister of the gospel all my life, and sharing good news is what I do. That's what all Christians do. We share good news. That's what Jesus did. Good news. All right. And this is part of the good news. Health. Health is part of the good news. Okay. So, Charity, are you there? Can you say hello?
I'm
Are you?
here. Yes, hello.
All right. Go for it, girl.
Awesome. That was great. I love the science. But the really cool thing is, well, so what does it feel like? What does it do for us? That's what we want to share some of the testimonies of, oh, having this ultra hydrating living water. Like, how do you feel on the other side of it? And so for me, I didn't watch any videos. I didn't care about water when I was first introduced to it. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. I don't, it wasn't really on my radar and I didn't really have any physical issues. But I just started drinking the water and it was in February of a few years ago, and all of a sudden, I started waking up before my alarm clock, like hours before my alarm clock. I was totally refreshed, totally rested. I'm like, this is amazing. And then in February, what you do in upstate New York is go snowboarding. And so my husband and I went to the resort here, and usually at the end of the day, I'm like tired and I'm sore, and the next day is a rest day. And we went snowboarding and I felt amazing. I wasn't tired. I wasn't sore. The next day I jump on the treadmill and go like 5 miles. I'm like, oh my goodness, I think there is something to this water. I have all of this energy. And so that's when I reached out to some friends and I shared with them. I said, I have all this energy, but the really cool thing about this water is they actually discovered it in Chernobyl. Remember, we thought like all the people they like got cancer from the nuclear disaster. Well, there's this whole group of people and they didn't. And so they were so resilient. They drank this water that made them resilient. And so that's what they realized, oh my gosh, what's the magic mineral in it? And it wasn't a magic mineral, it was the molecular structure of the water. I'm like, oh my goodness, I am all about prevention. I am all about maintaining awesome wellness. And who doesn't want to have more energy? So I was able to, share it with my dad and my naturopath, and they were super excited to just try it and see. And so I just tried some of the other products too. And like, the cleanse dad was talking about, like, I don't know about you, but I've tried like every diet, and like I was vegetarian for 15 years and then I was keto, and like the scale didn't move at all. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is impossible. What is going on? And so there is this deep cleanse, right? And you drink this stuff. It's super yummy. It's in this bottle. And there's a deep cleanse. You're supposed to drink like half the bottle in a day and fast. Well, I just misread the directions. I misunderstood that. I did not fast at all. I just drank like 4 ounces a day. But I just started losing weight. Like, you know how they say weight falls off of you, and that's just obnoxious because that's not what weight does? Oh, it did. Like, it's just a pound a week, every week for like 12 weeks, and then even more after that. And I'm like, I didn't change my diet. I didn't change my exercise. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I realized that's what it's talking about. What does it mean that it's cleansing you on a cellular level? Well, we know like God has designed our body that like if we take in these toxins, all the junk, the toxic soup that we live in, our body will literally encapsulate the toxic thing, the foreign particle, in a fat cell. It's to protect us. It's to insulate us. Okay, it's God's design for us. It's like a good gift, right? But then, oh my goodness, if we can power wash, if we can clean out our cells of those foreign particles, right, by just drinking this yummy tasting thing, all of a sudden, if all of the toxicity is gone, the fat can go too because it's not serving a purpose anymore. So that was amazing. And then I started wearing, this pendant, and it's energy. And I feel like Wonder Woman wearing it. And, that's kind of like a subjective thing. But then I went into my chiropractor, my kinesiologist guy, and he was muscle testing me. And he's like, he couldn't get a weak read on me. He was testing me energetically. He's like, you're strong. And he's like, you're too strong. And he's like, what are you wearing? And I'm like, oh, this strengthens my biofield. And he's like, oh, well, you need to take it off because it's making you strong. I'm like, isn't that a good thing? Like, I feel strong, but you're telling me objectively, energetically, I am. And so we took it off and he tested me or whatever. But I said, well, that same company, they who makes the pendants, they make cell phone protection. And he's kind of like negative. He just knows there's so much 5G all around us all the time. He's like, there's nothing you can do. You're just assaulted through the cell phones and the Wi-Fi radiation, and you cannot possibly protect yourself. And I'm like, well, if the pendant protected me, well, let's check the cell phone. So normally when you have a cell phone, your body, whether you feel it or not, you're in fight or flight. It is offending you energetically. And some people feel tired, some people feel nauseous, some people just they don't feel anything necessarily, but it's putting their body in this stress response. And so you can test that energetically. And I'm like, well, test me. And so he had me hold it. He's like, oh my gosh, this actually works. You could have this in your pocket all day long and it won't negatively affect you. I'm like, that's great. But that wasn't enough for him. He's like, oh, turn it on, like on a call. So he like makes me call his office. And I was still strong. And he's like, oh, you have to hold it up to your phone, up to your head. And oh my goodness. Okay, so I hold it up to my ear and I'm on the call. I was still totally strong. He's like, no, do it on the other side. Let me test the other arm. He couldn't believe it. But once I got it, it was really, really strong, like right up to here. But then when I got it right close to my ear, I got a little bit weak. And I'm like, hey, give me back my pendant. He had taken my pendant off. So I said, oh, let me try. And then I put on my pendant. I had the cell phone protection and I was 100% safe. And I'm like, that's why we need layered protection, right? Not just one thing, because I'm getting bombarded. We're all in this electromagnetic radiation assault that we just kind of need to protect ourselves. I kind of describe it like in New York in the winter, you're in a snowstorm, right? I'm not going to just put on my coat. I'm going to put on my coat and my hat and my boots and my gloves. So I'm going to wear a pendant. I'm going to put something on my phone. I'm going to put something on my laptop. I'm going to do all the things in order to protect me. And so it's been really cool to just see like the different ways that it helped me, but I, like Dad said, couldn't keep it to myself. And so my friend, this was a few years ago, she was dealing with long haul COVID. And for like, she was like completely wiped out. It messed her up physically, it messed her up emotionally. She didn't think she would ever be able to go back to work because she had so much anxiety. She was literally going to sleep at 7 o'clock every single night. And we were having Bible study at her house and I just brought her water. I'm like, drink this, just drink it. And she was so messed up. I mean, it wasn't like right away, like it was with me. I noticed all the energy. But like after a couple of months of being on this water, oh my goodness, total turnaround. She got all this energy. The brain fog just cleared. She was more positive. And now she's actually working not only as a high school teacher, but as the campus minister at that Christian school. So it's kind of almost like two jobs and she's thriving. And she's like, oh my goodness, it was this. It was the water in the pendant. We had no idea what was happening to her because her body just couldn't recover. Because I kind of picture it like Nehemiah. Do you remember in the Old Testament, they were trying to build the wall, but there were the enemies. So they had a hammer in one hand and a sword in the other. Well, you can't build anything. And that's like our body. It's trying to build and repair and heal. But oh my gosh, it's got to have this sword protecting us from all the electromagnetic pollution. But if we just wear a pendant, if we just put something on our phone, okay, there's this whole energetic bubble, armor protection shield. So then our body can just go into repairing, to building, to restoring, to healing. And it's not like these products really heal us. It's like God has just designed us that when we give our body what it needs, like proper hydration, nourishment, detoxification, our bodies will heal themselves. So that was an awesome, story with Christina. I'm like, but what if you're older? You have kind of more hardcore issues. My friend, her dad was like 89 and he walked with a walker because he was 89 and that's understandable when you're that age, but she got him on the water, got him wearing the pendant. He got so much strength and so much balance, he was able to walk without a walker. I'm like, come on, this is really amazing stuff. And if we're able to help people, I don't have a medical degree, I'm not a naturopath, but I can say, hey, you want some water? How about you wear a necklace, right? How about you put a sticker on your phone? That's not really hard. I think anybody can do that. My one friend, she is actually my online Bible school student. She's very sensitive to EMFs. And they moved into a new house. And like all of a sudden, she started feeling very anxious. She wasn't able to sleep at night. She was beginning to forget her words. She literally thought it was like the onset of like dementia or Alzheimer's. And she thought, oh my goodness, this house, it's like demonized. We need to cleanse it. And so she was like praying and fasting and anointing the house with oil and doing all of the things. And it didn't help. And so she realized, well, the Bible says God gives miracles and gifts of healings. We all want the miracle. We pray for the miracle, but we realize he also gave gifts of healings. So there's all kinds of ways God can help us and bless us. And so we want to appropriate that. So she's like, oh my goodness. Okay, let's try using the different Gia products, because she knew she was sensitive to EMFs. EMFs dehydrate you. So she got the package with all the goodies. She's like, oh my goodness, the headaches disappeared. I'm remembering my words. I'm getting along with my family members. Like, even the physical migraines that she had been having, they totally disappeared. And she's like, oh, I thought it was demons, but it was really EMFs. It's like, oh my goodness. Okay, we perish for lack of knowledge. That's what I'm saying right now. So we just want to avail ourselves of all of the different ways that God can heal us. And the last testimony I will share, before I invite a couple of other people who are on the call who have just amazing stories. It's not just if you're sick, if you're already strong and healthy. My friend, she actually got the water for her husband because he was a construction worker and he was just always in pain for like 2 decades. It's just every muscle in his body was sore all the time. She's like, well, let's just try it. So they got a package of the products, start wearing the pendant, drinking the water. Oh my goodness. Within 2 weeks, 60% of this physical discomfort was gone. And within a couple of months, it was 100% gone. He feels amazing. And I'm like, well, what about you? What did it do for you? She's like, well, I really didn't have any, health issues. But then we got to talking about it. She's like, well, I mean, I did used to take Tylenol, right? I would have headaches and I did used to need Tums, and I haven't had either Tums or Tylenol in a few months since we got on the water. But my most favorite part of her testimony is she would struggle to run 3 miles a day. And with the water, now fast forward 6 months, she's running 8 miles a day strong. She just told me on the phone a couple days ago, she's like, I feel like a freak of nature. I'm like, I need to quote you on that, sister. That's awesome. Who doesn't want to feel like that? Come on. So it can take you from sickness to wellness, or it can take you from wellness to fitness. It's just going to like level you up wherever you're at, because it just brings your body into homeostasis, into equilibrium. So God designed our body to heal itself when we give it what it needs. So I want to just invite a few people. I see Deb Richardson is on here, and she has some amazing stories. If you would like to unmute Deb and share your experiences on the goodies. Are you able to unmute? Let's see. I see you. Can you help her, Sue?
I am sending her a message, but it's not popping through by the looks of it. It looks like she's frozen. It might be her internet connection. Can we maybe bounce back to her in a second? Yeah.
Sure. Okay. We will come back to Deb. Then how about Miss Cindy? Cindy is in Buffalo, my neck of the woods. 716 is in the house. And I just met her in December. So yay, there you are. Hi, Cindy.
Hey, Charity, you look so beautiful tonight. I can just feel your energy, not even just see it. I love Gia, and I am so excited to share 2 testimonies. The first one is going to be from my husband, Brian. So Brian was born with a club foot, and he had triple bone infusion. And so his foot could just go up and down. It couldn't go side to side. And he tried everything. He did, the compression cast, he did the compression socks, he did every known insole, known to man. He did painkillers. In 2020, he had surgery. He had the huge staples removed. He had 3 bone fragments removed from his foot. So he's walking on broken bones for years. So you can imagine the pain this man has gone through his whole life. So let's go to May of this year. With a little hesitation, he got the Gia ankle sleeve, and he put that on his ankle, and he didn't have any pain. And he thought, well, I'm probably imagining this. He's a little bit of a skeptic. So he says, I'm just going to take it off and see what happens. Within about 3 hours, his foot was throbbing. He was an 8 out of 10 pain. He could barely walk to find his ankle sleeve. I said, honey, let me get it for you. So I found it, and he put his ankle sleeve back onto his ankle. Within 5 minutes, his pain went from an 8 to a 2. He had no pain. He has not been on pain medication for the last 2 months. He says he feels his ankle sleeve just wraps his ankle in coolness. It fits snugly, but not tightly, like he wears it all the time. I mean, he is now pain-free. He can get more work done. He has a higher quality of life. He goes, quote, "I don't know how it works. I just know that it works." So that's my husband. I'm a little bit more science orientated, so I'm going to give you my testimony now. So unbeknownst to me, I had a smart meter that was installed in my home. And I called my utility company and I asked if I had a smart meter, and they said, no, I didn't. But a couple people said, no, Cindy, I think you do. It's got an FCC number on it. So in case you're not familiar with smart meters, they will have an FCC on the smart meter. Around the country, they're changing out the analog meters, which work great, and putting in the smart meters, which can zap you 10,000 times a day with this radiation. And there's a lot of health problems and symptoms that come from having smart meters. And I know a lot of people who have been affected with smart meters, and I try to educate people on them. So I had the smart meter in this home and I could never sleep well. I was restless. I would toss and turn. I had aches and pains. I never slept good. I didn't know why. I was very confused why I didn't sleep good. So January 10th of this year, a day I will never forget, I got my Gia package. I was so excited. I immediately made the water and I drank the water. I put my beautiful pendant on. I put the home harmonizer in my bedroom, which will protect you up to 60 square foot. So now the radiation from the smart meter is not going to be affecting me. I went to bed that night. I put my head on the pillow. I went right to sleep. I didn't toss and turn. I didn't have aches and pains. I woke up the next day and I was exhilarated. I couldn't believe it. I had the first good night's sleep since 2013.
Wow.
Oh, I was amazed. So 2 weeks later, I took a shower, put some lotion on. I took my pendant off. I generally don't take it off. And I went to bed and, my hip was hurting. I'm like, why is my hip hurting? It shouldn't be hurting. And I got up the next morning. There was my pendant on the dining room table. And I'm like, oh, no wonder. But here's the kicker. Because I thought I had my pendant on, I was very unbiased in determining what was happening to me. Because if I had taken it off and said, oh, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have some aches and pains tonight, I could have willed myself into, having some aches and pains. But because I thought I had it on and I had those pains, I knew that it made a difference in my life. So now I am very protected with this pendant, with the home harmonizer, with drinking the water, because I'm not nearly as sensitive to EMF as other people are, but we're all being bombarded with it 24/7, whether we realize it or not. It's this invisible rainbow that's affecting us and attacking us. So for the last 2 years, I have been searching for two things. One is, how do I protect myself from EMS? And how do I find water that's alive and active? I don't want just water that is filtered and purified. I want something that has energy and vibrancy and frequency. And I've been researching that. And then when I met Charity in December and I saw that this company, Gia Wellness, was an answer to both of my problems. This company answered both of my situations. I was like, I went gaga. I'm very grateful, Gia, for what you have done to my health and wellness, to my husband's health and wellness. We are getting so much more work done. We're so much more productive. I can't even believe the energy I have. I can garden from 10 in the morning to 6 at night. I don't even take a break. I just drink water and I'm not even sore afterward. It's amazing. So that's my testimony, my husband's testimony. And I just want to say thank you, Gia, for your great products.
Awesome. That is so good. Thank you for letting us know. And I see Miss Deb is now unmuted, so we can pop over to her on the other side of the country.
Hello, everyone. Hey, I just am so excited about Gia. It's totally changed my life in more ways than just health. But, I just realized 2 weeks ago that it's been a year that I've been on the Gia products. So I've got tons of testimonies. I'll try to limit them. The reason that I actually bought my package was I was fighting dehydration at the time. And it didn't matter if I was drinking 70, 80 ounces of water. tried different electrolytes. Nothing was hitting the spot. And once I got on the eye water, within a week, I had better hydration along with tons of other things. The first 10 days I have listed here because I was told to keep a list of, just watching your body, what's going to happen. And it's amazing. So within the first 10 days, I had less bloating, easier. My plumbing was working better. I'll put it that way. The hydration and my desire for food was less. I was getting more satisfied with the hydration in my body. Couple other things getting down the line like August. So I've been on for 2 months. I realized I wasn't snacking or craving sweets. I was one that kind of searches through the house and what can I eat? What can I eat? Had gone away. I was waking up an hour earlier, which was like, whoa, that was good for me. Go down to November, and I was using a smart card on my cilantro and lettuces. And I just noticed last week, I decided to keep track of how much longer it lasts using a smart card in my lettuce container. And I had lettuce go at 20 days and even beyond that because I put the new lettuce in and took some of the 20-day and put it in a container to finish like in a couple more days. And it was still good without the smart card. So that energy stayed with it. It's amazing. Plus, I have to say, the water, you're not going to believe this, but I have a video to prove it. I started feeding my plants with eye water. So I decided this last Christmas to water my Christmas tree with eye water. So I put it up the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And I had to take it down the first Saturday, January, because the Boy Scouts were coming. Well, as I was taking it down, it's like, I can't believe this. I want to leave it up for another week or two. I took it out to the garage. I didn't lose any needles. It was vibrant. It was bouncy. And it was like, oh, I have to take a video of this because nobody's going to believe this. So I have that video if anybody needs it. Yeah, and recently people are telling me I look younger. In fact, somebody that I hadn't seen since April, I saw last week, and they go, "What in the world are you doing? What? You look 10 years younger." And I'm like, I like that. So I could go on and on. So that's just some of the testimonies. The I Thrive definitely getting up earlier. It tastes so well. Oh, I better tell this I Thrive story, right, Charity?
Yes,
Okay.
you should.
So when I first got my package, I told her, you know what? I'm not going to do this for a business, and I'm not going to use your vitamins because I've got the best that I have. It was a powdered vitamin. I mixed it in with my smoothie every day. But in my package was the I Thrive. So I used it that month. So I didn't reorder the next month. I got about 3 weeks into the next month, and it was like, whoa, where did that extra energy go? So I had to eat my words on that. Plus, in February, I decided I had so many friends coming to me that, I could help with this. And I thought as my commissions were coming in, just from a few friends coming in, I thought I could really do this as a business. And there's so many friends I had to help, people that need this water, that need the healing of properties of the items that we have. So I started that, and yeah, I paid my package off. I think it was, without working at it within 7 months. Because I was on from July and I didn't start till February. And I think it was February that I paid my package off without even trying. So it's changed my life. I love these people. Our team is fantastic. They help you. I tell you, as far as business, you'll find no greater support. I've never seen a company with the support from the top people to where you're at. They just all work together as a team, and it's a family. So thank you, Gia.
Oh, yay. I love those stories. That is beautiful. Thank you so much, Deb. And I believe we have Miss Aliciana who can unmute and share. She's one of the newest. I think she just joined Gia like a minute ago. So tell us your experiences in just the short time you've been with us.
So I have had wonderful experiences using the products. I became interested in Gia because of the eye water. And I had spent a lot of time researching before reaching out to charity about it. So by the time I reached out, I knew I wanted it. My daughter she suffers from POTS. And this condition, it's an orthostatic intolerance condition that it pretty much affects the overall quality of her life. But one of the keys to maintaining that orthostatic tolerance and allowing the heart rate to regulate, blood pressure to regulate more is hydration. And so her body it kind of signals itself to dehydrate itself as quickly as possible. And so we had been going to an IV infusion center just to get hydrated. 2 to 3 times a week, mostly 3 times a week. And we did that for a year. We're still doing it currently. But the tricky part was keeping her hydrated from one IV session to the next IV session because we'd show up and her body was dehydrated and, in need of getting that hydration. It would show in her vitals. Her blood pressure was elevated, her heart rate was elevated. And so I needed something to keep her hydrated in between. And so we started using eye water, and we noticed at 3 weeks that her vitals were much better when we would go in. And so the hydration was making a difference. It was supporting her body in the way it needed to be so that her body could naturally do what it needed to do. And her doctor started to take note. They were very excited. We recently saw her cardiologist, and he was just over the moon. He was so excited. He walked into the room. He goes, I have some really great news. And he was so shocked because we've been doing IV hydration for a year. So what all of a sudden changed? And so I went ahead and shared the eye water information with him. And he was just so excited. He's like, please bring me brochures. I want my patients to know because he does take care of a lot of children with this condition. And so that's encouraging for me because these other children are going to be able to receive better hydration, which is necessary for them. The other part of it, when I first started talking to Charity, I never thought that I was going to get like the home harmonizer and the protection for the cell phone and all that stuff. I just thought water, 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 right? Well, once I understood how all of those things coming at us and attacking our body on a regular basis, once I understood how that actually played a part in our lack of like hydration, how that can actually dehydrate us, I started to consider it more and more. And then I'm also a person who's extremely sensitive to EMFs. Um, my daughter and I went out, we bought a new tablet that I couldn't even use. She couldn't use it either. It would give us a migraine. We'd get flushed. We felt flu-like. We just did not feel well. There are stores that we've never been able to really go into because we couldn't be there more than like 10 minutes. We just didn't feel well. And so I decided, you know what? Charity did an amazing job, and Gia's websites are incredible. I read the science on it too. And I went on Dr. Mark Berkler's website as well, and it's so filled with amazing information. And so I decided I wanted to take that step and do that layered effect. And it has been transformative. I'm actually using the tablet right now that I was not able to use before. We've done muscle testing, and my daughter and I both have our pendants. We've noticed a difference when we don't have them, as to opposed to when we do have them. So um, it's just changed so much. The eye water has even made an impact on my dog's life. I have a small poodle who would have an upset stomach every single week. At least once a week, my dog would be physically ill. It wasn't specifically connected to any particular thing. His stomach was just super sensitive. So he'd wake up some days and he wouldn't eat that day. And I tried different things for him, probiotics and whatnot. And it wasn't until he started using the eye water that he has gone now. I think we're going on 6 weeks, and he's doing amazing. Like, no more upset tummies, no more upset bellies, no more getting physically ill every week. And it's like, okay, a human, we can do this psychosomatic thing, right? We can like convince ourselves that, oh, well, maybe it's just in my mind. I can't do that with my dog. My dog, there's nothing I can do with my dog. Just I give him the eye water. I see that it helps him, and it's changed things even for him. So that has been huge. It's just wonderful for all of us here at home. So yeah, that's my story.
Well, that's an awesome story. I'm gonna have Sue Johnson share her story next, but there's one more. Aliciana, you talk about your dog's stomach, but what about your tummy?
Oh, yes. Oh my goodness. See, there's so many testimonies in such a short amount of time that I forget all of them. Okay, so I suffered from a lot of discomfort in my stomach for years. All sorts of medication on my stomach. I got to a point at one time where I really did think that I had an ulcer. That's how uncomfortable I was. And so I drinking the water at 2 weeks, I started to notice that I wasn't walking around kind of rubbing my stomach and, worried about what was going on because the pain was constant. So it was always on my mind. And I thought, well, my goodness. The brochure, it says that it can help with the microbiome and, help with absorption. And so here I am. I'm just going to drink the water. I do drink a lot of water. It's typically what I drink all day. Uh, and week 3 came along, no discomfort. And I had an appointment to go actually get some testing done and to see if I had an ulcer because that's how in much trouble I was at the time. Well, I go in for the exam and the doctor's like, "Oh, how have you been?" And I'm like, "Well, to be honest, I'm here because I'm scheduled, but I have not had discomfort in over a week and a half." And so she's like, "Okay, well, let's do the testing." They found absolutely nothing wrong going on in my stomach. As a matter of fact, I had had gastritis for a long time. And she said, well, your gastritis is so much better. She's like, I'm not sure what's happening. I'm not sure what has changed, but things have changed. And so my discomfort level in my stomach is 0. I have absolutely no more issues with that. And that's so, so huge. I am so, so grateful for Gia because it has allowed my body to, like we've talked about, heal itself and do what it needs to do by just giving it a healthier intake. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Jesus, and thank you, Gia. Every good gift is from above, so we always are grateful. That is amazing. Thank you for sharing all of those stories. So from teenage daughter to dog to you to senior citizens to everybody, we're getting all kinds of results. And I know this was going to be kind of about our time that we were going to wrap up. We haven't gotten to Q&A yet, but I know what we're going to do. We will keep on with whoever wants to stay on for Q&A, but I just know that the number one question everybody has is, well, how much does it cost? So we're going to that'll be the first question that we're just going to answer right now. And then if you do stick around, we'll do Q&A. But the least expensive way to get started is like a package of products. So we're going to go over like a few of the most popular discounted packages. You don't have to get a package. You can just if you just want to get one thing or another, feel free to reach out to whoever invited you to this webinar and they will help you get the best price for whatever products you want. But Dad's going to bring back up that product page and we'll look at that. And probably 95% of the people who have joined our team, they have gotten the products in this way because it just kind of stretches your dollar the furthest. And when you get a collection of products, then you actually get a lot of results a lot more quickly. So the gold package, this is like a family package. So if you've got several people you're wanting to use the EMF protection for, or if you want like a business builder, It's $3,600 worth of products, but it's always discounted to about 2,400, which is a good deal. But right now there's a huge sale going on. For the end of the month, just 2,157. So it's literally 40% off. So it's a great time to invest in your health if this is something that you're considering. So not only do you get like 30 to 40% off like your initial order and every order for a year, you also qualify for an immediate like 2% increase on your frontline commissions. So if you are the type of person that when you have good news, you share it with others, well, just like Deb said, you'll be able to quickly and easily earn back your commissions. I mean, we've had people do it in a month. I did it my first month, just enrolling a few people. So you definitely can do that. The nice thing is there's even monthly payment plan options for these packages. So you can just put a portion down. And the nice thing is there's a 30-day money back guarantee. So we tell everybody, oh my goodness, just try it. Get all the goodies, try it, see. If your whole entire life has changed, it was definitely worth the investment. And if not, oh, you can ship it back to the company and get your money back. So there's like no risk at all. Either your life has changed, right? Or you get your money back. So Dad, if you want to actually come back to me, I'll do a little show and tell. It's like that's the picture of like everything. But this is the picture, okay, that we talked about. It's got the little lid on top. So this is our eye water pitcher, and all of the packages have this. If you're going to get one thing, get this thing, okay? And there's even like payment plans just for this. It goes into your cells 3 times better, and a hydrated body is a healthier body. But you don't only get that, they'll give you, it's ideal to have a glass or like BPA plastic, container. So they send you, that's included, a glass water bottle to drink out of. It's best for the activated water. And then they give you all these spray bottles because remember Dad's arm, like any type of skin issues like eczema, psoriasis, bites, burns, rashes, topical. Okay, so I always carry one of these in my handbag. I went out for coffee with my friend. Her cat had scratched her right before came to Starbucks, and I just whipped it out. Spray, spray, spray. She's like, oh my goodness. It took the pain, the little burn right out of that cut on her arm. So you can drink it and you can spray it and you can spray it all over. And then, okay, the I Thrive. This is a handful. Instead of taking like a handful of supplements, which I have definitely done in the past, it's got a dozen vitamins, but they're in the single file lined water, and there's an extra energetic frequency in it, just makes it super, super bioavailable. So your cells are just like eating it up, and it goes right in 3 times better. So even if you had vitamins that were like, the same exact milligrams, it's not going to be absorbed and assimilated like this, which is why everybody almost seems to have way more energy. Dad wanted to build his immune system. He was around, people with like colds or whatever. So instead of just taking an ounce of this, a cap in the morning, he also took a cap at night just to, fortify himself. Oh, he couldn't even sleep, which isn't great at night, but it's awesome in the morning. And it's awesome at 3 o'clock when you want an extra, a little bit more energy. So this, tons of nutrition, super bioavailable, and lots of people, the biggest testimony is energy. Plus it tastes awesome. So you just take a capful of this, a capful of this. This is the famous cleanse that I lost the weight. And oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I had stellar diet. I would eat like my organic spinach salad, and my stomach, it was like a balloon afterwards. I'm like, what is going on? Why is this happening? And I would have my digestive enzymes, and I would try my probiotics and all the things. Nothing helped, no matter what I ate and all the different diets, right? This cooling, soothing, calming, changed my whole entire life, right? My stomach is flat in the morning. I eat a meal. Oh, still flat. Okay, so I'm in love with this. And you would think this would be my favorite one, but nope. My favorite nutritional is actually the Edge. We haven't even talked about this. Oh my gosh. It comes from cactus. What do we know about cactus? They're resilient. They grow where it's 1,000,000 degrees, right? And they thrive. This makes you thrive in stressful conditions. That's what I'm saying to you. So it's like recover naturally from stress and muscle fatigue. So it's like physical stressors like exercise, but I take it every single day, whether I'm working out or not, because it's like emotional stressors, mental stressors, psychological stressors, the stress of living on planet Earth. I notice such a difference when I take this. I take it every single day. I'm just like, oh, it's my peace, it's my patience, it's my joy in a little supplement. So God has given herbs for the service of mankind. So you're getting all of this stuff in this package. The water, you're getting a month's supply, which is what this is, of their nutritionals with the single file lined water, with the energetic frequencies. And then, of course, the EMF protection, right? The most important thing I feel after the water is the pendant, okay? And they have different pendants in the packages. There's ones just like this, except for they're silver. They're perfect for guys or girls, or they even have other ones like heart shapes and dog tags, super cool. But they come in the package this, and you actually get 2 of them in the gold pack, the family pack, because it's for your family, or you can share it out. You can to someone else. You get stickers. This is just a cell phone case, but it's to show you the little sticker. And you get like 4 of these because they go on, your cell phones, and also like your iPads or your Kindles or your small electronic devices. And then your bigger electronic devices, oh, it's not this speaker, but it's this. It's this little, it's a universal guard. So you're gonna get a few of them. You're gonna get 4 of them. You're gonna put the first 2 on your Wi-Fi router. Okay, that's kind of like the faucet, the spigot. All of the toxic radiation is coming into your house. Just nip it in the bud. And then you're gonna have a couple extra. So you can put one on your laptop. You can put one on your wireless printer. Every single wireless device. Oh my gosh, we just got a new stove. It is a smart stove. I do not want to be able to start my stove from church. It's just not necessary. But now I got 2 of these on here because every single thing in my house is apparently now wireless, because we're not going to stop using it. Even though science tells us it's all carcinogenic, right? The 5G, we're not going to stop. So we're just going to make it easy. We're going to mitigate and neutralize the negative effects of the radiation. So what about this? These are my little earbuds. They're little tiny baby stickers, like you put on the phone, but you put them on hearing aids, earbuds, smartwatches. Oh my gosh, these are things that we're actually attaching to our body. Do we want to be like that? Like with the energetic frequencies just assaulted? No, we don't. So that's why you'll actually get 2 sets of these, okay? And you'll get, here we go, home harmonizers. And this is what, the people who are sensitive to EMFs notice so much, but people sleep better with this. Kids will, like, in their nurseries, not wake up in the night, all kinds of things. Oh my gosh, it was fun, the dog story, because with little babies and dogs, they're not making it up. There was a sick dog. He came in, plopped himself right underneath where this was plugged into a wall. Okay, because the animal literally, intuitively, instinctively realizes, energetic frequencies that are going to help me, that are going to help my body accelerate healing. So plug this into your wall. It creates a harmonious, energetic environment. And it actually mitigates dirty electricity if it's plugged into the wall. And you get 2 of these. So put them, one in your bedroom, one in your home office, wherever you spend the most amount of time. But then you're going to leave your house. Okay? You're going to get this. It's a car harmonizer. You put it on your keys, because what is this? Your car, it's got the navigation system. You're driving down the road. Oh my gosh, the cell towers. Okay, onslaught, snowstorm, barrage of the electromagnetic pollution. Okay, so create a bubble. Create an energetic bubble to protect you from all of the things. All of the things. And then, oh my gosh, it's so fun. You get their skincare, which is amazing. And I think that's why, like, so many of the people in GIA, like, we have these team Zooms, like Deb was talking about. People are so supportive, and people who've been in GIA like 10 years, and you see them and you're like, oh, they're probably like in their 50s or whatever. They're like, oh, they're in their 70s. It's like, what? I want to do what you're doing, right? Like, our senior partner, he's like 73 and he plays like pickleball 3 hours a day. Okay, so they look young, they're strong and healthy. But what's the difference between a grape and a raisin? It's hydration. So what we say in GIA, we just all want to be grapes and not raisins. So this is their skincare. Their amazing miracle water goes into your cells 3 times better, and it's food for your skin. So there's botanicals. This is a serum. This is a fluid. I even like to mix these together at night. It's super nice. It smells amazing. My skin is, for years, it's always been super sensitive. It would either just be red and dry, and it's like coming off of my face, Or I would put such stuff on, it's like greasy and it's just like, oh. So this, it actually goes into my cells. It hydrates them from the inside out. And so you get these, the most popular products in the gold pack. You're getting all of this stuff in that package that we told you about. You get, oh my gosh, exfoliator, okay, which is awesome. It's very gentle. It's not abrasive at all. It's amazing. Your skin feels so soft. You just use it like once or twice a week. And then their newest product, which I'm in love with, is their night repair. So it's just luxurious and thick and creamy and amazing. And I have, I've tried a bunch of other like expensive things. Like for my neck, I'm like, oh my goodness, I am looking older than I should be looking right now. And nothing else fixed it. But this, within just a few days, I like noticed a difference. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I use it during the day. I use it at night. I use it all the time because I'm in love with it. And the really fun thing, another objective testimony, just like your doctor telling you you're doing amazing. I was invited to be one of the religious experts on a documentary series, and they flew me out to wherever. And there's like the official like hair and makeup person. And as soon as I walk in, the makeup artist is like, oh my goodness, your skin is amazing. She's like, what are you wearing? And I'm like, moisturizer. She's like, oh my gosh, you must spend so much on your skincare or you must drink so much water. And I'm like, let me tell you about my skincare and about my water. So that was really cool to again have someone objective professional in the field of skin say, hey, you're healthy. So it's not just looking good, but it's actually having healthy skin, which is what we've learned. It's actually every ingredient is chosen because it does something good for your health, because your skin is like the organ. It's assimilating so much stuff. And I don't want to forget, in addition to this huge like sale in July and all of these discounted prices that we're going to be seeing, all of the packages get an extra very awesome. It's the Hydro Renew Mist. So it's another one of their fabulous skincare products. You'll just get to try it for free. It's like a $40 retail thing. So that's thrown in. So, Dan, if you want to go back to that sheet, and we're not going to go through all the things again, but I'm just going to quickly explain. That's kind of like the premier package, our number one recommended package, just because you get the most amount of products. So if you want to feel good quickly, and you also get the membership fee for an entire year. You'll be able to get these 30 to 40% off prices, and you will be set up as a consultant. So if you get results you want to share with people, oh my gosh, you're going to have your own personalized affiliate website, which is awesome. For an entire year, people can go there, they can see the Gia videos, they can place orders. It's shipped directly from the company to them, and you just collect the commission check. So you're not needing to stockpile things, you're not needing to deal with customer service or any of that. So that's a really, really nice part of that package. But the other really awesome package that they have is a silver pack. And it's retail value of $2,200, regularly discounted to $1,450. But again, another July sale. Okay, take another 10% off of that. It's only $1,305. So again, saving like 40%. And it does qualify you again for the commission for not as high of commissions as the other package, but you'll still get some commissions. You'll still get paid, which is great when you share with others. You're going to get the discount, which a lot of people just want to get the biggest discount possible, 30 to 40% off. And the nice thing is it does have a payment plan as well. So you can break it up over like 3 months if you would like to do that. And so we can just go down this list and we'll just look at what it does and doesn't have. So you get the water. That's the most important thing. You're getting the spray bottles, the water bottle. You're getting the pendant, you're getting one of them instead of two. The big package has two. The pendant is the second most important thing. And so you're going to get one of those. You're going to get two of the Cell Guard slivers. Those are the little stickers that you put on whatever phone that you have, whatever kind of phone case you have, you just stick the stickers. The other package was 4, this is 2. The universal guards, those are the things you put on your laptops, Wi-Fi routers. The big pack you get 4, this one you get 2. So, same thing with the home harmonizer. That's the thing that you plug into the wall. Instead of getting 2, you get 1. So 1 is a good place to start, okay? You do get a month's supply of the iThrive, which is the energy vitamin drink. You do get a month's supply of the cleanse, which I lost the weight on, and that was such a game changer. And then you get a smaller bottle, a 12-count bottle of the Edge, which is the fruit of the spirit in the bottle, okay? And then you get the Radiant Reveal exfoliator. So you do get one of the skincare products, which is awesome. and you are getting that membership fee. So the discount applies for an entire year. Any products that you want to order, there's no like sales, requirements or anything, but it's just if you want to place orders, you get discounts and you are set up to receive orders if you decide to share, which we're super excited to help you do. Then you can earn back the, whatever investment you make. Oh, you can do it through your affiliate website. People can just go there and order, and then you can, earn back the price of your package. So those are kind of our two favorite packages. But if like money is like an issue, there is an economy package. So we just wanted to mention it, a mini manager pack. Because if you go online, you'll see the activator itself is $979. Well, for just 20 bucks more, you can spend 1,000 and you can get the water activation system and a pendant and the cell phone protection. So there's really not any reason to not just get like at least the mini manager pack, because it is such a good deal. And again, you're going to get the discount going forward, and you'll be set up as like a manager in the company. So again, if you want to share it with others, you can earn back your investment through commissions and bonuses. So those are the packages. We encourage you, you can just think about it, pray about it. These, sales go all the way through August 1st. So there's no rush, right? Whatever Holy Spirit tells you to do, that's what we think that you should do. And we're going to open it up to questions now. Hopefully you've gotten a lot of your questions answered if you've hung in here with us this whole time, but we do have Miss Sue Johnson. She has been with the company since almost the beginning of the company, like over 10 years. And she taught me everything I know. So you can bring on the questions if you want to raise your hand, if you want to put something in the chat. We're going to let her field any hard questions that you have. I know some people ask, if we have any testimonies like about a certain thing, if you have a family member dealing with something. But yes, we will open it up for whatever direction you guys would kind of like to take it. Sue?
Excellent. Well done, Mark and Charity, for bringing these amazing products to your friends from afar. Yeah, so please, I would love to answer any questions you have. So please don't be shy. Jeremy, I see you've raised your hand. You want to unmute? There you go.
A couple items. I'm struggling with some digestion problems. Basically, at least two problems. One is food gets stuck in my stomach, kind of supposedly some gastrointestinal condition or something. And there seems to be a stricture or narrowing in my large intestine. And so I'm trying to figure out, what helps best with these. One, I'm I don't mean to be, I probably shouldn't even be saying this, but I'm just wondering, I use the Geo water uh, cleanse. Is there any chance, and this isn't really my main question, but is there any chance that it could sort of backfire, you might say, with digestion and perhaps support things that are blocking the digestion instead of helping it, sort of? Have you ever heard of anything like that?
Well, great question, and thank you for being so brave to ask it, Jeremy. My understanding that I've always gone by for the past 13 and a half years that I've shared this is the body works optimally when it's hydrated. So whatever issues you have going on in this case as such with your stomach and the large intestine, the body's hydrated, it can now concentrate on healing what needs to be healed. Now, that doesn't say we shouldn't check with doctors. Of course, we don't make any medical claims with any of our products, of course. We can just share our stories, and the stories are amazing. So I encourage you to maybe even drink a bit more water, because I know you've been with us for a while. So how much water a day are you drinking? Are you up to, a gallon or so?
No, not that much. I haven't been keeping much. Another thing I was curious about is I know Mark talked about the milk experiment earlier. Have there been any reports of using other, like whether it be milk or say prune juice? I'm sometimes drinking prune juice to try to help go into the bathroom. I'm taking laxatives. Of course, prune juice is kind of a natural laxative. Has anyone ever tried other liquids like that or milk or something in the thing?
100%. Yes, any liquid, literally any liquid. I mean, I have heard stories where people go to the store and they buy a $4 bottle of wine, they bring it back, they pour it in the activator, and half an hour later, they're walking away with a $40 bottle of wine. Now, myself, I don't drink this stuff. I don't like it, but I just find that's an amazing story on what when you single file a line and just put an ERT, the energy residence top technology, Alfred's proprietary technology, puts that life force back into whatever's in the jug. So I think that plays a big role in it. So whether it's, you make vegetables and you make your little smoothies by squeezing the vegetables, etc., you put that into the activator and activate it. It will then be absorbed 100%. So any liquid, literally any liquid, definitely. I've even known people that have had creams before they moved on to start using ours. Even the creams, which are not quite runny liquid, they are still got liquid going on in them. And there's obviously a lot of water content in those creams. So they take the creams in the jars that they're in, these little containers, I don't know, from other companies and stuff. They didn't want to waste them. They put them into the activator, put the activator on top, or probably into the jug, activator on top, press the button 30 minutes later. Those creams are now enhanced because the any liquid inside those creams have been single file aligned, so they'll absorb better. So when we say that any liquid is single file alignable, of course, you want to make sure it's a good quality. So even like your prune juice you brought up, make sure that it's a good organic quality prune juice, not prune drink.
What
Yeah.
about milk? What about milk?
Yeah, milk can go in, but again, I would say I'm not a milk drinker, so I don't drink milk. I'm either coffee and I put butter in my coffee, not cream and stuff. Water and coffee is my two go-tos. But yes, any liquid, it will single file align. I don't know. I mean, because I'm not an expert when it comes to what's in milk and all the ingredients, but for some reason, with the stomach issue you've mentioned, I don't know if I would single file line milk and throw it in and down into your stomach, sweetheart. Yeah, but that's something that we need to check in. Yeah. I mean, Mark being a naturopath, you might know better than I on that one, but that's the best I can do on that, I'm afraid. Yeah.
And how
Bless you.
warm and how hot can you or warm can you make the water or whatever before it loses its single file thing?
Do you know that's an excellent question, Jeremy, and I'm glad you brought it up. 'Cause I don't think we covered that this evening. So my water molecules are always trying to pull apart from each other. They're always moving around. They're always active. So even after our 30-minute cycle on the beautiful jug that Charity shared with us and that Mark showed us in the video, soon as the cycle's finished, those water molecules are wanting and start trying to pull apart from each other. So if you leave the water on the counter, room temperature, and of course out of sunlight and other things that can affect the water. So just on my kitchen counter here, it'll last for about 2, maybe 3 weeks. When we put it in the fridge, it's just science, right? Things are moving slower when they're colder. So they'll now last maybe 3 weeks, possibly even 4. When you start heating things up, your water molecules are going to start moving around faster and they're going to pull apart quicker. If you bring the water to boiling, I would say about 20 minutes. But if you just bring the temperature up to, simmer, like small simmer, not quite to a boil, probably about 2 hours. So a lot of people like their tea with it, for example, things like that. But again, if you're making coffee and tea with eye water, be sure it's a good quality because it's 100% being absorbed into your cells. And we want good stuff going in as we've learned tonight. I'm chat here and I see are these products could be office up here in Canada. I'm Canadian, outside of Ottawa, and that's Pargo. Am I saying Pargo? We do have this. Our packages up in Canada are slightly different. Not a problem. Deb mentioned coconut water. Yes, a lot of people like that. Definitely can single file align it. Do you have to have a website to order these products? Where am I at here? Oh, do you have a website? I would recommend reaching out, to Charity or myself, and that way we can help you decide on which is the best package for you. And then we can guide you through there as well. And I know in the email we send out after this, which come out, I believe, tomorrow, all the information will be in there if you just want to jump on board and do it yourself. But it doesn't hurt to reach us in case you have questions or there's something we guide you in missing in the package that you might want to add there 10% off as well, rather than waiting to order later. Liquid stay single file line. I think I just answered that, Jen, for you. Thank you. Do they have a GIA consultant to answer questions on how? That's what Charity's here for. She's your GIA consultant. She's going to be your senior partner along with myself joining the team. I'm pretty sure everybody on here. And again, if you're on Deb Richardson's team, then that might be your senior partner as well. We all work as one big family at GIA. That's one of my favorite things about this company. I joined the company to start with because I needed that second income. I was desperate. I mean, people were trying to tell me about water and cell guards, and I didn't want to know. All I heard was you were making money every month with this. Okay, if you can do it, I know I can do it. So I jumped on board with 2 feet into the deep end, and I learned how to swim. And it was the best decision I ever made. I totally, I mean, over time, I want to cry at times. The family of GIA, the best friends I've met in my life are GIA consultants. The people when my life goes, I pick up the phone, it's a GIA person that I'm calling, that I'm leaning on, that shoulder is there for me. And that's not just the GIA consultants, that goes right through the support team, the CEOs of the company as well. Like Mark said, we tick off all 32 boxes on the list he put together when it comes to finding a true MLM, network marketing company, referral marketing company, a company that share our hearts when we share the products. And I am so very grateful. Oh, bless you. Okay, I'll leave that at that there for that. Your gold patches, get the gold package, the commission payout. All right, so there's a huge commission plan that the company has developed for us that is very, very generous. So the difference between the gold package and the other two packages is you get 8% commissions through your your first level of organization on the shopping that they do that month. If you come in with the gold package, you're basically giving yourself a 25% pay rise because you're going to earn an extra 2%. So when you take that 8% you were earning, divide it into 4, take 2 of that percent and let's add it to the 8. So you've now given yourself a pay rise by coming in with the gold package. Now there is a way in your first 30 days if you have a smaller package and you want to upgrade it. There is another part of the bonus opportunities that we have. There are so many different ways. Your first 30 days of joining, which is another, if you want to share the good news with others, do connect with myself and Charity. It's so important that we want to make sure you're off to a good, solid, fast start. Should also mention at this point too, if anyone is not interested in sharing the GIA Joy with others, why not? Just kidding. But we do have the option of a preferred customer. So that is a different thing altogether than we've discussed right here. But they do come through with a discount, 20% of everything. There are the same package deals, but they cost a little more because it's a 20% discount, not the full 30% with all the extras thrown in as well. So you're never going to pay retail. I can assure you all of that because you've connected with us today. So do connect with myself or Charity or the person who invited you to the Zoom tonight so that we can help you on the right journey. And if you decide to come in one way and decide to swap over to the other, that's doable too. Okay. Excellent. What else do we have here in the chat? Awesome. Okay, I think I covered what in the chat. If I've missed a question you might have typed in, please unmute. And anyone else have anything they would like to ask this evening? I love answering questions, so please don't be shy. This is when I shine. Speaking one of the lessons that our lovely co-CEO teaches us is you open your mouth and your heart at the same time. And this is where I shine. I love doing this, so please don't hesitate. I know a lot, don't know it all, but I do know where to find the answers, though. Jeremy again, come on board. You need to unmute, sweetie.
And then Burgie after him.
Sorry
Perfect.
about that. The other thing is, I was looking at those two liquid things. There's the I Thrive and the Cleanse. Between those two, which do you suppose would be more useful in terms of improving a sluggish digestion system, would you say, just off as a wild, what would you suggest?
Well, with what you've shared tonight, and if you had to choose just one, I would recommend the Cleanse for you and see how that goes. Although the two combined, I mean, I Thrive has been on the books with us for as long as I've been on the books with the company. And the Cleanse came out, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago. It seems like we've always had it, but we hadn't. And it was designed flavorful as well to combine nicely with the iThrive. As Mark mentioned, they are delicious on their own, literally delicious on their own. I will sometimes, if I'm in a hurry, I don't stop and make a glass with eye water. I will just take a quick shot from the iThrive bottle, done, out the door. Very nice, delicious. The cleanse has a little bit more of a tart going on, but it is doable. So you'll find your balance. But as I say, Jeremy, start with the cleanse, and I would recommend both because the way the cleanse works, just to give an example, is your cells are like a fishbowl. So the cleanse goes in and it cleans out the dirt on the inside of the fishbowl and pushes out all the toxins. The iThrive then comes in, putting in the nutrients. Now we're clean, healthy, and ready to take on anything.
You wouldn't
Excellent.
suppose that doing that cleanse, whatever, you wouldn't suppose it would have any effect on the intestines. There might be something is partly blocking my large intestine. We don't know if it's something built up on it or a stricture or
Mm.
something. If it is something
That I
built up
really
on it,
couldn't comment to that. I couldn't comment to that, Jeremy. I'm afraid that is something with the doctor, I believe, what blockages, etc. I will stand by eye water. You've really got to drink the eye water, get the blood flowing, hydrated. The body cannot do what it's doing if it's fighting dehydration and fighting electropollution. So again, be protected from the electric world we live in, the wireless world that we live in now. We need to be protected from it so that we can move forward optimally. And hydration, hydration, hydration. I mean, let's go back and remember that sheet Mark showed us, where our bodies are literally 85% on average made of water. So if your water's not working, body's not going to be working. Real simple. Bless you. Awesome. Virgie?
Yeah. Do all the pendants have the same level of protection?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So we do have, I'm wearing the ones that come with the package, this nice silver one. These are the ones that are included with the package. And those are a nice classic pendant, we call them. But we do have more expensive ones that come in a heart shape, a dog tag, the Koru pendant. I have one of those as well. We've also got a nice light pendant. So it's less expensive than the others, but it's great for animals and children. I had a friend whose a child was just running amiss, etc. Took the light pendant with a safety pin and put it on the back, taped it to the back of his shirt with the pin, taped it, pinned it. He didn't know he was wearing it, and she noticed a huge difference in his calmness. Major difference. So, the kids don't even need to know they're wearing them. And again, the dogs, every dog I've had has always had a pendant for sure. Yes, Burgie.
Is the light pendant lighter in weight than?
Yes, ma'am. It's made from a plastic, I want to say, but it's really, really nice. I mean, when I say it's made from plastic, it's like, ugh, no. With a little black dress and on a choker chain, it would look very, very elegant with the black side out. And on the opposite side of our pendants, we have the Gia logo here. Can't quite see it. I'm strangling myself a tad. This is what's on the back of the light pendants, and it's in I want to say octagon or hexagon. I'm not sure if it's 8 or 6 sided, to be honest. I want to say 8, but it's in a very nice octagon shape, and it would just sit nicely on the neck of the ladies, for example. And a lot of people don't want this kind of around their neck. I don't find these heavy, but I do get comments that the pendants feel heavy. The light pendant will work perfect for that as well. And the ERT energy never expires. I shower in it, I sleep in it. It really doesn't come off my neck. Do they recommend you showering in it? No, they don't suggest you do, but it's not going to hurt it. So keeping that in mind. Okay, we had some stuff going on in the chat. Is that good, Virgie? Anything else?
Yes. No, thank you.
Okay. Let's go back up here, scrolling through. Consultant transactions. How can we reach you in charity? That'll be all in the email. The information will be sent out in the email on how to reach out to us. With an affiliate site, can we order future products? Most definitely. And you will receive a order of, pardon me, if your order is one of these packages, you will be locked in with a 30% discount off of retail moving forward. And then Gia decided to bless us again a few years ago and upgrade the abundance plan. And we now receive an additional 10% off the nutrients or the nutritionals that we order as what we call our auto ship, our automatic reorder, ARO. So we basically, in sense, our 30% pricing receives an additional 10% off, and we get 10% off shipping, and we earn an additional 10% with people that are on the front level to us that have an auto ship. So always blessing us there. If you get the gold package, what's the commissional payout? I think I've covered that. Order off website. Yeah. Yes, you'll have your own affiliate website that with these packages, as Charity mentioned. So these packages were put together to incorporate 12 months with the back office where you'll see your team growing, or you can check on your numbers, order stuff, etc., and move things around like that. Okay. I missed the first 25 minutes. Yeah. Yes, and we also have a beautiful website that we have out there that we share as well called giafreedom.com. And if you go to it, you can click on the Intelligent Water tab. And Charity talked about the Chernobyl issue with the eye water earlier. My favorite video. It's the last one on that page, right down to the bottom. 5 minutes explained, beautiful. So, but there's so many good things. You'll have an excerpt from our other co-founder, co-CEO, Alfred Hanser. He does a great 10-minute job of talking about the eye water from an excerpt from one of his presentations. Emailed out tomorrow. Thank you, Charity. Charity, I sent a tag today. Okay, the pendants are made from a Charity, help me with this one here. I always keep
Stainless steel.
surgical stainless steel. There we go. Thank you. Yeah. And then, of course, the plastic one, it would be, it's BPA free. Of course, it's a nice wellness health company. They're not going to be putting bad stuff for us, that's for sure. Okay. How long does the Eye Thrive bottle last? It's a 32-ounce bottle, both the cleanse and the Eye Thrive, and we recommend 1 ounce a day. So that would last you 32 days. You may have afternoons where you're feeling that little bit of sludge that Charity was talking about in the afternoon, and you'll have an extra shot that day. Not a problem. I like to call it natural Red Bull. It doesn't give you that high and then come down. It just brings you up and keeps you energetically all day long. Absolutely beautiful. Yes, there is an annual fee. It's already included with the cost of the packages. Yet every year, currently it is $24.95. So $25. We hold on to our 30% discount. And if you decide after a year, this isn't for me, that's okay. You don't have to pay the annual fee. So don't feel that there's any solid commitment. Do not let any of those. That's why I want you to chat with Charity and I about any questions you have about this. It just happened with the other day. The lady was like, life happened with her and things were not going the way she planned, and they charged her. So she reached out to me and said, what do I do? I said, not a problem. I looked after it, got in touch with the company, told her that life happened. She's going to come back in a few months, like down the road, 8, 9 months as such, perhaps she's hoping. But they refunded her the $25. And when she comes back, her account just goes into what we call suspended. And then when she's ready, she comes back to us and we help her get restarted. No, she doesn't have to buy another $1,000 or $2,000 pack. She's going to be to come back with us and have her 30% discount when she's ready. Okie dokie. Do you know a lot of people who put bottled spring water? That's what I'm drinking. I get my spring water, especially when I'm on the road on the go. You go into the stores, you pick up a gallon, like the Crystal Geyser, for example, I think is down the States, if that's familiar to you guys. And that's what I activate. The activation system with half a jug at a time. Am I missing any questions here? How long does it take to get the product? Well, that depends on the mailman, but we get your order in probably, depending where you live as well, shipped from California. So, I mean, if you live in Nevada, you're going to get it a lot quicker than Charity would in Buffalo, for example, right? Okay. They ship from CA. Thank you, Charity. So the gold pack has 1 Eye Thrive bottle. So for my husband, I'll try it. It'll last for 2. Yes, definitely. Jen, please join the team. You've got it already. I'm loving this. Okay, if you want to see the ingredients in the eye cleanse, I love that, April. Charity, do you have that? You might be able to email her out. Yep.
Actually, yes. So you will be getting an email tomorrow with the replay. So you'll have this whole video, you'll have Dad's PowerPoints, and there will be a link to those 3 packages, the gold pack, the silver pack. So in that, you can click on like the cleanse. It will take you to, or any of the products, it will take you to that product page on Gia's website. And there you just scroll down through. There's like reviews you can look at, and then there's like, downloads, which is like, oh, you can get the supplement facts, and it's got all of the ingredients listed right there. So yes, those are available right on Gia's website, and there'll be links kind of to them in the email tomorrow.
Excellent. And is it Cleta McDonald? I see that you've asked about distilled water. Yes, of course. It's whatever healthy, clean water you're drinking now is what you bring to the table, and Gia brings the activator to the table, and it's literally a match made in heaven. Now, when it comes to distilled water, though, distilled water is what I understand to be as dead water. There's nothing in it. So you want to make sure you take some electrolytes, or you're getting enough salt and stuff in your system as well. I'm in your situation. I live on a well too here where I'm at, and I don't drink the water. It's fine to drink apparently, but I'm just one that prefers my spring water, to be honest. I do buy distilled for the coffee maker, though. Answer that? Beautiful. Good job.
Well, yeah,
Thank you.
I guess it would be reverse osmosis. I could get water like that.
Yes, you could, ma'am. That's for sure. Yes, taking as I
No,
say,
salt
whatever type of
water.
water you're drinking now that you're happy with is what you want to bring to the table. I strongly do not recommend drinking city tap water, right? Because of the stuff they put in it. Whatever's in the water, as soon as you single file align it, it's going to get into your cells 100%. 100% absorption. So what we want to absorb is good stuff. And with that note, make a little note. Any vitamins you take will now get absorbed 100%. If you're on any sort of prescription medication, do not take it with eye water. That would be something not right now. Your body needs to get adjusted and used to eye water. So if you are just going online and ordering your system and such and you receive it, that does come with instructions on how to get started. Because if you just went crazy drinking a gallon every day, I drink water, and now I'm drinking a gallon of eye water, your body will tell you. Those toxins you've been carrying around will all flush out at the same time, and you could have a couple of days of very strong flu-like symptoms. Nothing wrong. It's just your toxins coming out, but there's no need to go through that. Just take a week or 5 days to go slowly introducing your body to it. A cup or two the first day, increase it the next day, increase it the next day. So until after about 5 days or so, your body is now used to it. And even then, moving forward, give it a bit longer before using prescription medication with the eye water. Excellent.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Pressure, my senior eye pressure. Do you know, I have had people with eyes that have been sore, and I get it myself. And I wouldn't say it's eye pressure. Maybe it is. When I've done a lot of driving, I mean, I've gotten in my van, driven around the States 2, 3 times, and I can go 8, 10, 12, 14 hours a day with driving. When your eyes get that burny sensation and they do feel a lot of pressure, I grab the spray bottle, which is always my travel companion, and I pick it up and I spritz my eyes and let it soak in. Spritz my eyes, let it soak in. After 3 times doing that, my eyes feel refreshed, wide awake, and open again. Absolutely hydrated. They're just dehydrated. I think when it comes to any ailment that we suffer with or deal with, a lot of it comes back to dehydration. So getting hydrated is so, so, so very important. I'm seeing you've answered a couple questions, Charity, so I'm skimming over those without reading them properly. Okay, have you seen a reduction in tumors? Well, Jen, good question. Again, we cannot make a medical claim, but I'm sure there's quotes in the books that Dr. Igor has written that you'll receive, they can get you that section of. So again, how do I want to word this now? When it comes to those type of ailments, tumors, etc., cancer cannot survive in a hydrated cell. How do we hydrate a cell? You've just spent a couple hours learning how. No medical claims whatsoever. All right, I'll leave it at that. Excellent. Refrigerator. Okay, is there anything else I've missed, anyone? Okay, I think we're good. I don't see any other hands up. I'm just changing between my screens here. Yes, Charity.
And I see one other one. What about ear ringing? And I feel like I have heard some testimonies. I mean, obviously, a hydrated body is a healthier body, but also with the EMF protection. I mean, depending on what the root issue is, but some people do have ear ringing because of the EMF radiation. So that's where like the pendant, the cell phone protection, the Wi-Fi router guards, that would come into play and could potentially help with that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Okie dokie. All right, and we got one new, making sure, how do you handle vacations? Vacations. The company does have a travel unit, so it travels with us as such. But if I'm honest, I didn't pick mine up for the first 3 or 4 years. It's easy enough to just take what you have and pack it in your suitcase. In your carry-on is what I keep the activator in. I carry a brochure with it, so security, when I'm going through security at the airport, explains what it is, because it's different. People aren't used to seeing it. But yes, you just pack it away gently, pack it with t-shirts, socks, etc. Put it into your suitcase and away you go. Simple as that. There is an adapter if you're going to a country outside the States or Canada, but we do have you. I mean, Alfred himself is from Austria, and all of his family out there have eye water units. Definitely. Okay, okay. Any other questions? Okay, I will hand it back to Mark and Charity then. And thank you so much for having me on tonight, though. It's always a delight. I get really excited answering questions like this and getting into it and sharing from my heart with all you. So from me, I want to say thank you for your time this evening and for being on a phone call. Take care.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sue. That was great. These were really good questions. I'm so glad that you guys asked them. And one thing, we sort of just touched on it, but I should have explained. So the packages that I shared, those are like the US prices for US consultants, but we do have, Gia is in Canada as well as Australia and New Zealand. So there are packages, similar, different prices, different configurations, but discounted packages available in all of those countries. And even if we don't have warehouses where you can become like a consultant and build a team, they do ship. Like you can be a preferred customer in almost any country. They'll ship like all over the world. So just feel free to reach out to us again, whoever invited you to the webinar, or just reply to the email tomorrow, because you're going to get all of this information and you'll get Sue's contact information, my contact information. If you just click reply to the email, it comes to me. So we'll be able to help you, navigate it, figure out what's the best price for whatever you want to get. So feel free to, any other questions that come up, you can bring them on as well. So thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, Charity. Thank you, Sue. I love everything you said. You're so alive. Both of you are so alive. I feel like mine needed a whole little bit of boosting up after watching yours. So thank you both very much for what you've done. And folks, thank you all for showing up, and thank you for sticking around. And we're not offended if you want to email us and contact us. We would like you to. We'd like to make sure all your questions are answered. It's not an interruption to our life to take time to help you walk through this decision. So God bless you. You will get an email from us tomorrow with everything in it. And I think we'll call it a night tonight. So goodbye, everybody. See you next time.